Welcome in. Go ahead and get comfortable wherever you happen to be right now. Maybe you're already tucked under the covers, with the lights turned low and the world outside gone quiet. Maybe you've had a long day, the kind that leaves your shoulders a little heavy and your mind still buzzing with all the things you didn't quite finish. Either way, you're here now, and that's the only thing that matters. There's nowhere else you need to be tonight. Nothing else you need to do. Just this. Just rest. Take a slow breath in, if you feel like it. Let it fill you up gently, no rush at all, and then let it go, soft and easy, like a wave sliding back out to sea. You don't have to try hard tonight. You don't have to hold on to anything. In fact, over the next little while, my whole job is to help you let go, one small thought at a time, one slow breath at a time. And if you drift off before we reach the end, well, honestly, that's exactly the point. That's the whole idea. Tonight, we're going to take a gentle journey together. Not a fast one, not a loud one. We're going to wander slowly and quietly into the biggest, darkest, most peaceful place there is. We're going up into space, out past the rooftops and the streetlights, past the clouds, past the last blinking lights of the highest plains, all the way out into that vast, velvet quiet that wraps around our little world. And out there, in all that stillness, we're going to explore something wonderful. We're going to explore mysteries. 50 of them, in fact. 50 strange, beautiful, unexplained things about the universe that even the smartest scientists, with all their telescopes and their equations and their years of study, still can't fully explain. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Mysteries. Doesn't that sound a little exciting for bedtime? But here's the thing, and I promise you, this is true. There's nothing more calming than a good mystery told slowly, in a soft voice, with no pressure to solve it. We're not here to crack any codes tonight. We're not here to figure anything out. We're just here to wonder, to let our minds float out among the stars and marvel at how much is still unknown. And there's a strange kind of comfort in that, isn't there? The comfort of knowing that the universe is enormous and old and full of secrets, and that none of them, not a single one, is your problem to solve tonight. You can just lie back and let them be beautiful. Before we drift off together, let me say a quick, quiet thing, and then I'll let my voice settle right down into that low, sleepy hum that carries you off. If you enjoy these calm journeys, if this is the kind of thing that helps you unwind and drift away at the end of a long day, it would mean the world if you tap that like button and maybe subscribe too, so we can keep doing this together, night after night. That's really all it takes to help this little corner of quiet keep going. Because that's what we're doing here, you and me. We're helping the world get a little more rest, one sleepy soul at a time. And you, right now, are one of them. So thank you for being here. Truly. All right, let that be the last little bit of business for the night. From here on out, there's nothing to do but relax. Let your body sink a little deeper into wherever you're resting. Feel the weight of the day beginning to loosen its grip. Your feet, your legs, your hands, your arms, all of it can go soft now. Heavy and warm and still. There's no hurry in anything I'm about to say. I'm going to speak slowly and softly. And if your thoughts wander off somewhere along the way, that's perfectly fine. Let them wander. Let them drift. My voice will just be here, gently in the background, like a warm blanket you don't even have to think about. So let's begin the way all good space journeys begin. Let's look up. Imagine for a moment that you're lying somewhere far from any city, somewhere the air is clean and cool, and there's not a single light around for miles. Maybe a quiet field in the middle of the countryside. Maybe a soft patch of grass on a hillside, or a blanket spread out on the warm sand of a beach at night. You're on your back, looking straight up, and above you is the whole night sky, wide open and endless. And the longer you look, the more stars appear. First, just the bright ones, the bold ones that show themselves right away. And then, as your eyes adjust, more and more begin to bloom into view. Hundreds of them, thousands, little pinpricks of ancient light, scattered across the dark, like grains of sugar spilled across black velvet. And here's the first gentle thing to wonder about, before we even get to our 50 mysteries. Every one of those stars is unimaginably far away. So far, in fact, that the light you're seeing left them a very, very long time ago. Some of that light has been traveling toward your eyes for hundreds of years. Some of it for thousands, some of it for millions upon millions of years, crossing an ocean of empty space just to arrive, tonight, at this exact moment, in your eyes. When you look up at the stars, you're not really seeing the sky as it is right now. You're seeing the past. You're looking backward in time, gazing at light that set out on its journey long before you were ever born, long before anyone you've ever known was born. And it traveled all that way, patiently, silently, just to reach you. Isn't that a soft and lovely thought to fall asleep to? That the whole sky above us is a kind of memory, a picture of how things used to be, painted in the quiet glow of stars that may have already changed, or drifted, or faded, in all the time it took their light to find us. That's the sort of thing we're going to think about tonight. Big, slow, peaceful thoughts. The kind that stretch your mind out wide and gentle, like a yawn, because space is full of these ideas, these puzzles that scientists have been turning over for centuries and still can't quite put to rest. And as we make our way through all 50 of them, I want you to hold on to that same feeling you have right now, lying in that imaginary field, looking up at that endless sky. That feeling of being small in the best possible way, cradled by something enormous and ancient and calm. We'll drift past planets that spin the wrong way, and moons that shouldn't exist, and signals that came from somewhere out in the dark that no one has ever been able to explain. We'll float near black holes, those strange silent giants that swallow light itself. We'll wonder about whole galaxies that seem to be missing pieces, and about the vast, invisible something that scientists call dark matter, which fills the universe all around us even though no one has ever seen it, or touched it, or truly understood what it is. And through all of it, I'll keep my voice slow and low, and you can keep sinking deeper and deeper into that warm and welcome place where sleep is waiting for you. There's no test at the end of this. You won't need to remember a single fact. If you fall asleep during mystery number 3 or mystery number 30, you won't miss a thing, because the whole purpose was never really the mysteries themselves. The mysteries are just the soft, winding path we're walking down together. The real destination is rest. Deep, easy, uninterrupted rest. the kind that lets your body repair itself and your mind smooth out all the wrinkles of the day. That's what I'm hoping to give you tonight. So let's settle in just a little more. Let your head grow heavy against your pillow. Let your jaw unclench just slightly. So many of us hold tension right there, in the jaw, in the space between our eyebrows, in the tops of our shoulders, without even realizing it. So take a moment now and let those places go soft. Let your forehead be smooth. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears. Let your breathing slow all on its own, the way it does right before sleep, when you stop paying attention to it and it just takes care of itself. And as you do that, picture the sky above you growing even bigger. Picture yourself beginning to rise, ever so gently, up off that soft patch of grass, up off the warm sand, floating upward like a feather caught in a slow, warm draft. There's no fear in it, no falling, just a slow, dreamy lifting, the way you sometimes rise in a dream, and it feels like the most natural thing in the world. Up you go, past the tops of the trees, past the birds asleep on their branches, up through a thin layer of cool cloud that brushes against your skin like mist, and then out the other side into the clear. Below you now, the world is small and quiet. You can see the curve of it, the soft blue edge, where the atmosphere meets the black. You can see the lights of distant towns, tiny and golden, like embers glowing in the dark. And all of it is peaceful. All of it is far away. All your worries, all the little tasks and troubles of the day, they're down there too, shrinking smaller and smaller as you rise, until they're just faint specks of light, indistinguishable from all the rest. You don't have to carry any of it up here with you. Up here, there's only stillness, only stars. This is where we'll spend our night, out here in the great quiet between the stars, drifting from one gentle mystery to the next, in no particular hurry, with nowhere to be and nothing to prove. I'll be your guide, but a very sleepy sort of guide, the kind who's happy to slow down and pause and let long, comfortable silences stretch out between the words. Because sometimes the space between the words is where the sleep sneaks in. So this is my invitation to you as we get ready to begin. Let go of the idea that you need to stay awake for this. Let go of the idea that you need to follow along. You've already done the hardest part just by lying down and letting yourself be here. From now on, you can trust me to carry the story, and you can let yourself grow heavier and warmer and further away with every breath. If you make it to the end, wonderful. And if you fade off long before then, that's wonderful too. That means it worked. That means you're exactly where you're meant to be. We've got 50 of the universe's most beautiful unsolved secrets waiting for us out there in the dark. 50 quiet wonders to drift through, one after another, like counting soft, glowing stars instead of sheep. And we'll take them slowly, so very slowly. There's all the time in the world tonight. The universe has been keeping these mysteries for billions of years. They're not going anywhere, and neither are you. You're just going to lie here and breathe and let yourself be gently pulled up into the stars. So take one more slow, deep breath with me. In through the nose, filling you all the way up, and out again, letting everything soften. Good, just like that. Feel how your body already knows how to do this. Feel how ready it is to rest. Now, let's begin our slow drift out among the 50 great mysteries of space. Let's begin where all wonder begins, with a single, quiet question whispered up at the endless sky. And let's see just how far we can float together before sleep, finally, gently, carries you the rest of the way home. The first question, the one where all of this begins, is one that a child could ask, and yet no scientist on Earth has ever truly answered it. Here it is, whispered up into that endless dark. Why is there anything at all? Just let that settle over you for a moment. Not to solve it, not to worry it around in your mind like a puzzle, just to hold it, softly, the way you'd hold a smooth stone you found on a beach. Why is there something rather than nothing? Why is there a universe filled with stars and dust and light and warmth? And you, lying here, breathing slowly, instead of just an empty, silent, endless nothing at all. You'd think that nothing would be the easy thing, the natural thing. Nothing doesn't need to be built. Nothing doesn't need a reason. And yet, here it all is. Here we all are. A whole universe that decided somehow, at some unimaginable moment long ago, to simply exist. And the truth is, nobody knows why. The cleverest minds who've ever lived have turned this question over and over, and they've come away with the same soft shrug that you or I might give. It's a mystery, a real one, the oldest one there is. And isn't there something comforting in that? That right at the very bottom of everything, underneath all the equations and all the telescopes and all the careful measurements, there's just this quiet, open wonder that nobody can close. You don't have to close it either. You can just let it be open and let yourself drift right through the middle of it, the way you drift through an open door into a warm and darkened room. Let's float on to the next one. Gently now. No hurry. Out there, far beyond the reach of any light we've ever built, there's something that fills nearly the whole universe, and we can't see it, and we can't touch it, and we don't know what it is. We call it dark matter. Not because it's dark in a frightening way, just because it's invisible. Just because it slips right through everything, quiet and unseen, like a breeze moving through an empty house. Here's the strange and lovely part. We know it's there, even though we can't find it. We can feel the pull of it. Whole galaxies spin around and around, and they spin far too fast to hold themselves together with just the stars and dust we can actually see. They should fly apart, scattering off into the dark, like sparks from a fire. But they don't. Something is holding them. Something gentle and enormous, wrapped all around them like arms, keeping everything softly gathered in. For every single speck of matter we can see, the stars, the planets, you, me, this whole glowing world, there's something like 5 times as much of this invisible stuff. 5 times as much of the universe is made of a thing we've never once laid eyes on. Imagine that. Imagine walking through your home in the dark and knowing that most of what surrounds you, most of everything, is quietly there, holding it all together, and you simply can't see it. And instead of that feeling frightening, let it feel like being held. Because that's what it's doing. It's holding the galaxies. It's holding you. Nobody knows what it's made of. Scientists have built enormous machines, buried deep underground, waiting in the perfect stillness for even the faintest whisper of it to pass through. And so far, mostly, There's just silence, just the patient waiting, just the knowing that it's out there, all around us, cradling the universe in the dark. You can let that cradle you too. You can imagine yourself sinking down into something soft and unseen and endlessly gentle, something that's been holding the stars in place since the very beginning, and that has more than enough room to hold you as well tonight. You don't have to understand it. You just have to let it hold you. Let's drift on. If dark matter is the quiet thing that holds the galaxies together, then there's another mystery out there doing the opposite, and it's every bit as strange. It's a thing that's pushing the whole universe apart, gently, endlessly, faster and faster. We call it dark energy, and honestly, that name is really just a polite way of saying we haven't the faintest idea what it is. Here's what we've noticed. Every galaxy out there is drifting away from every other galaxy. The whole universe is spreading out, like a slow, deep breath that never quite finishes. For a long time, people thought that spreading must be slowing down, the way a ball tossed into the air slows as it rises. It only makes sense. Everything slows eventually. Everything settles. But the universe isn't slowing down. It's speeding up. The distances are growing faster and faster, as if some soft and patient hand were easing everything ever further apart. And whatever's doing the pushing, that mysterious energy woven into the empty space itself, makes up most of everything there is. More than dark matter, more than all the stars and worlds combined. The vast majority of the entire universe is made of two things we can't see and don't understand. And only a tiny sliver of it is the bright, warm, visible stuff we call home. I find that oddly peaceful, actually, that we're this small, glowing corner of something so much vaster and stranger than we'll ever fully know. It takes the pressure off, somehow. You don't have to have all the answers. Not even the universe does. It's all just slowly unfolding. All of it. The galaxies easing apart in the dark, and you easing down into your pillow, letting your breath grow long and slow, letting the whole day drift away from you as gently as those far-off galaxies drifting into the deep. There's no rush out here. There's no finish line. Just the soft, endless spreading of everything, and you resting right in the middle of it. Let's carry on to the next quiet wonder. Think about the very beginning of it all, the moment everyone talks about, the great burst of light and heat from which the whole universe came pouring out. We call it the Big Bang, and it's a wonderful name, all fire and noise and drama. But here's the funny thing. The mystery isn't really the bang itself. The mystery is how strangely, impossibly smooth everything is because of it. When you look out at the universe in every direction, it all looks remarkably the same. The temperature of the deep, empty space off to your left is almost exactly the same as the temperature far, far off to your right, out at the very edges of what we can see. And these are places so unimaginably distant from each other that, as far as we can tell, they've never touched. They've never been close enough to share their warmth, the way two people might warm their hands at the same fire. And yet somehow, they match, perfectly, as though the whole universe had agreed, long ago, to settle into the same soft, even hush. How does everything end up so evenly warm, so gently balanced, when the pieces were never close enough to share it? That's the puzzle. Scientists have their ideas. They imagine that in the very first sliver of a moment, far quicker than the blink of an eye. The whole young universe stretched out unimaginably fast, smoothing itself the way a rumpled sheet pulls flat when you shake it out over a bed. It's a beautiful thought. But whether it's really what happened, nobody can say for sure. What I love is that image, though, the whole cosmos at the very start, settling itself smooth and even, like fresh sheets billowing down over a mattress and drifting softly into place. Maybe you can feel your own blanket settling over you now, in just that way, smoothed and even, warm from edge to edge. The whole universe began by tucking itself in. And so can you. Let's keep floating, slow and easy, to the next one. Out at the heart of nearly every galaxy, including our own, there's something enormous and dark and endlessly hungry. A black hole, and not a small one. A giant. Millions, sometimes billions of times heavier than our sun, all gathered into a single point so dense that not even light can climb back out of it once it falls too close. Light, the fastest thing there is. The thing that crosses the whole width of a room quicker than you can think it. And even light can't escape. It just slips over the edge and is gone, folded away into the dark. Now here's the mystery, and it's a gentle one, so don't let the word frighten you. These giant black holes are old, impossibly old. Some of them were already enormous when the universe itself was still very young. Far too young, really, for anything to have grown so large. It's a bit like walking into a nursery and finding a full-grown oak tree already standing there, tall and broad and ancient, in a room that's only just been built. How did it get so big, so fast? Nobody knows. They were simply there, already vast, already ancient, back when everything else was still new. And here's the part I find strangely soothing. For all their pull, for all their hunger, these black holes are mostly still. They don't chase anything. They don't roam. They simply sit at the centers of their galaxies, calm and patient, letting the whole slow wheel of stars turn gently around them. The way the still point at the center of a spinning top holds everything else in its quiet orbit. Our own galaxy has one, right at its heart, and it's been there the whole time, patient and unmoving, while billions of stars, including our own small sun, drift slowly around it in a great, unhurried circle that takes hundreds of millions of years to complete. We're on that slow, wide turn right now, you and I, circling gently around that quiet center at a pace so calm and so patient that a single loop takes longer than we could ever imagine. There's nothing to do about it, nothing to steer. We're just drifting along on that great slow current, carried around and around, the way a leaf is carried on the surface of a wide, lazy river. You can let yourself be carried like that now. Nothing to hold on to, nothing to steer, just the slow, safe turning of everything, with you resting easy right in the middle of the ride. Let's ease on to the next. Here's a soft and curious one for you. Somewhere out there, tucked in among all those distant stars, there are worlds, planets, wandering around suns that aren't our own. We've found thousands of them now, and every one is a whole world we'll almost certainly never visit, with its own skies and its own weather and its own long, quiet days and nights. And some of them are so strange, so unlike anything here, that they hardly seem real. There are planets out there where the winds blow faster than anything we've ever known, howling around the whole world in endless storms. There are planets so close to their suns that a single year, one full loop around, takes only a handful of hours. Imagine that. A whole year passing before your afternoon nap was through, and there are planets drifting all alone in the dark, with no sun at all, wandering the empty space between the stars in perfect silent solitude, cold and quiet and utterly free. But the ones I love most, the ones I think are worth carrying softly down into sleep with you, are the gentle ones. The ones that might, just might, be a little like home. The right distance from their star. Not too hot, not too cold, maybe with water on them, pooling in oceans, falling as rain, catching the light of some other sun in the exact way our own oceans catch ours. We can't see those oceans. We can't hear that rain. But we know, from the way those worlds tug so faintly at their suns, that they're out there. Whole quiet worlds, turning slowly in the dark, with their own mornings and their own evenings, waiting, patient, unseen, and maybe, on one of them, under some far and gentle sky, the light is fading right now the way it fades here at the end of a long day. Maybe the air is growing cool. Maybe everything is going soft and dim and quiet, the way your own room is going quiet now. It's a lovely thing to imagine as you drift off. That all across the universe, on countless unseen worlds, the same slow settling into rest is happening, over and over in the dark. That sleep isn't only ours, that the whole cosmos knows how to grow quiet and dim and still. So let yourself grow quiet too. Let yourself grow dim and still and soft, like a small light being gently turned down low. We've drifted through a handful of mysteries now, and there are so many more ahead, all of them waiting, patient and unhurried, out there in the warm and endless dark. There's no need to reach for them. They'll come to us, one by one, all on their own. All you have to do is keep breathing, slow and deep, and let yourself keep floating, further and further from the busy world below. Let's drift on to the next one, gently, the way you'd turn a page in a book you're too sleepy to finish. Here's a quiet little wonder for you. Way out past the last of the planets we learned as children, out where the sun is just one more bright star among many, there's a place we've barely glimpsed, a cold and distant edge of things, where small icy worlds drift slowly through the dark, taking hundreds of years to make a single loop around the sun. And out there, in all that silence, something odd is happening. A handful of those far frozen little worlds seem to be leaning the same way, tilting together, swinging around on paths that all point, ever so gently, in the same direction, as if something we can't see were quietly tugging on them, herding them along like a slow and patient shepherd in the dark. Nobody has ever laid eyes on it. But some who study these things believe there might be another world out there. A big one, bigger than our own Earth, maybe several times over, wandering so far from the sun that it's wrapped in near total darkness, so dim and so distant that our telescopes have never caught it. A hidden planet, drifting through the cold at the very edge of the family of worlds, taking perhaps 10,000 years, or even 20,000, to circle the sun just once. Imagine a year so long that whole civilizations could rise and fade before it was done. Imagine how slow, how patient, how endlessly calm the turning of such a world would be. And maybe it's nothing. Maybe those little icy worlds are leaning together by pure chance, and there's no hidden giant out there at all. That's part of the gentleness of it. We don't need to know tonight. We can simply let the possibility sit softly in the dark, the way you might let a warm thought sit in your mind as you're falling asleep. Not chasing it, not solving it, just letting it be there, quiet and lovely, at the edge of everything. Picture it for a moment, if you like. A great dark world, far, far away, moving so slowly it hardly seems to move at all. No rush, no hurry, just the long, slow drift through the cold and the quiet, patient beyond all imagining. And you, warm in your bed, drifting along with it, unhurried, cradled, carried gently through the night. There's a kindness in that thought, that even the biggest, most distant things move slowly, that the whole of space seems in no rush whatsoever. You don't have to be either. Let your breathing slow to match it. In, softly, and out, softer still. Now let's ease along to something closer to home, something you've seen with your own eyes on some clear night, perhaps without ever knowing it held a mystery at all. The moon, our own gentle moon, the one that's kept us company for as long as there have been eyes to look up. It's such a familiar thing, hanging there in the dark, silver and calm and steady. And yet, when you really think about where it came from, it turns into one of the loveliest puzzles of all. Because our moon is strange. It's enormous, as moons go, far bigger next to its planet than almost any other moon we've found circling any other world. Most planets have little moons, small chips and specks of rock. But ours is grand, round and full and bright enough to light a path across a darkened field. The story most people tell is that long, long ago, when the earth was young and still half molten, another world came drifting in. A world about the size of one of our neighbor planets, wandering through the early chaos of the solar system. And it struck us. A slow, enormous, world-changing collision, so long ago that the numbers hardly mean anything anymore. And out of that great meeting, out of all the rock and heat thrown up into the sky, something gathered and cooled and drew itself together into a ball. And that ball became the moon, born out of a piece of our own young world, spun off into the dark, and then settling, over ages, into the faithful companion that circles us still. It's a beautiful thought, isn't it? That the moon might be made of the same stuff as the ground beneath your house. That when you look up at it, you might be looking at a long-lost piece of home, drifting up there in the quiet, catching the sunlight and sending a little of it back down to us, softly, all through the night. A gentle reminder in the sky that even things torn away in the wildest of moments can find their way to peace in the end, can settle into a slow, steady orbit, can learn to simply drift, calm and constant, for billions of years. And here's the mystery part, the soft, unsolved corner of it. When we brought pieces of the moon back home all those years ago and looked at them closely, they turned out to be almost too much like the Earth. So alike, in fact, that it puzzled the people who study these things. If the moon really came from some other world crashing into ours, you'd expect it to carry a bit of that other world inside it. A trace, a signature, something a little foreign. But instead, it looks like us, deeply and thoroughly like us, as though it were made of earth and earth alone. and no one is quite sure why. There are ideas, of course, gentle guesses about how it all might have worked. But the honest answer is that the moon still keeps a secret or two, up there in the dark, shining down as calm as ever, telling us nothing, asking nothing, just keeping us company the way it always has. You don't need to solve it. Let the moon keep its secret. Let it hang there in your mind, round and soft and silver, a quiet light in a quiet sky. And let yourself grow just as quiet beneath it. There's something so restful about the moon, isn't there? It never rushes across the sky. It rises slowly, drifts slowly, sets slowly. It has all the time in the world, and tonight, so do you. Let's carry on, softly, to the next. Here's one that lives right here in our own little corner of space, on the planet next door. There's a world out there we've named after an old god of war, though it's really a small, cold, rust-colored place, quiet as a desert at dusk. And on that world, long, long ago, something wonderful may have happened. Because when we send our careful machines to roll slowly across its surface, and we look at the shapes of the land, we find something that makes the heart go soft. We find the beds of old rivers. We find the outlines of what look like ancient shorelines. We find valleys carved by flowing water, and smooth stones that look for all the world like the pebbles you'd find at the bottom of a stream back home. Which means that once, a very long time ago, that dry and dusty little world may have been blue. It may have had rivers running across it, and lakes gathering in its low places, and maybe even a wide, shallow sea stretched out beneath a warmer sky. Rain may have fallen there. Clouds may have drifted over it. Somewhere on that quiet world, water may once have caught the light of the same sun that warms your window, rippling and shining just the way water does here. And then, slowly, over an unimaginable stretch of time, it changed. The air thinned, the warmth leaked away, the rivers ran dry, and the seas pulled back, and the whole world settled into the still, cold, rusty quiet it wears today. And here's the mystery, the gentle unanswered question at the heart of it. Where did all that water go? Some of it drifted off into space, little by little, over the ages. Some of it may still be there, frozen deep beneath the surface, locked away in ice and cold, waiting in the dark. But the whole story, the full and complete account of how a wet young world became a dry old one, is something we're still piecing together, one careful clue at a time. I find that a peaceful thing to think about, oddly enough. A whole world settling down, growing quiet, its busy rivers slowing and stilling, and finally coming to rest. There's no sadness in it, not really. Just the long, slow turning of time, and a world easing gently into a deep and lasting calm. Rather like what's happening to you right now, as your own thoughts slow and still, and settle down towards sleep. The rivers of your day growing quiet, the busy currents easing to a stop, everything coming softly to rest. Let that happen. Don't hold it back. Let the day drain gently out of you, the way the water drains slowly from that far, quiet world, until all that's left is stillness and peace, and the soft weight of your body sinking down into the bed. Let's drift to one more before we go deeper. Far out in the dark, there are stars unlike our own. Our sun is a warm and steady thing, burning gently, giving off its light at a soft and even pace. The same today as yesterday, the same tomorrow as today. But not every star is so calm. Some of them shine steadily for ages, and then, every so often, they brighten. They flare, quietly and enormously, sending out a great soft pulse of light and energy into the dark. And then they settle back down again, calm once more. And there are stars out there that pulse like a slow heartbeat, growing bright and then dim, bright and then dim, swelling and shrinking over days or weeks, breathing in the dark in a rhythm so steady you could almost set a clock by it. There's one star in particular that's given the people who study these things no end of gentle puzzlement. A distant star that every now and then seems to dim. Not in any regular way, not like the steady pulse of those breathing stars, but oddly, unpredictably, dropping in brightness and then rising back up, as though something were passing in front of it. Something large, something we can't quite make out across all that distance. And nobody is entirely sure what it is. Dust, perhaps, drifting in a great cloud around the star. Or the debris of some old comet, broken up and scattered wide, drifting slowly across the star's face. Whatever it is, it's far too far away for us to see directly. All we can do is watch the light dip and rise, and wonder gently at what might be out there, turning slowly between us and that distant sun. And that's all right. That's the whole soft point of tonight. We don't have to know. We can just watch the light dip and rise, the way you might watch a candle flicker low, and let the mystery of it lull us rather than trouble us. There's a whole sky full of these little unanswered things, these gentle flickers and pulses and dimmings, all of them turning quietly out there in the dark, keeping their secrets, in no hurry at all to give them up. And you're in no hurry to find out. That's the beauty of it. You can let every one of these mysteries drift right past you, unsolved and lovely, like lights on the far shore of a lake, glimmering softly across the water, while you rest on the near side, warm and safe and still. So let's rest here a moment. Let's not reach for the next one just yet. Let's just breathe, slow and deep, and feel how far we've drifted from the busy world below. Your bed is soft beneath you. The dark is warm around you, and all across the sky, in every direction, the mysteries are turning, patient and unhurried, keeping their quiet company through the night. There's a hidden world at the edge of everything, moving so slowly it hardly moves at all. There's a moon overhead, made of home, keeping its gentle secret. There's a far dry world settling into its long rest. And there's a distant star, flickering softly, in no hurry to explain itself. You don't have to hold any of it. Let it all drift. Let your thoughts grow loose and slow, like leaves settling one by one onto still water. There's nothing to solve here, nothing to figure out, nothing at all to do but breathe and sink and rest. In softly, filling you all the way up, and out, slower still, letting everything go. The whole warm, endless dark is holding you now, gentle as anything, carrying you deeper and deeper towards sleep. There's a sound out there, or something like a sound, that came to us once and never came again. Long ago, on a quiet night, one of the great listening dishes we point at the sky picked up a signal. A strong, clear burst of radio waves, rising up out of the emptiness for a little more than a minute, and then fading away, gone, as if it had never been. The person who found it, going back over the readings later, was so struck by it that he scribbled a single word in the margin of the printout. Just a small note of wonder, really, and ever since, that fleeting little whisper from the dark has carried that word as its name. We've listened and listened at that same patch of sky, night after night, year after year, hoping it might speak again. But it never has. It came once, said its one strange thing, and went quiet forever. And no one has ever been able to say for certain what it was, or where it truly came from, or why it never returned. Isn't that a soft thing to wonder about? Drifting off, a single word from the dark, spoken once and never again. And there are other whispers out there too. Brief, brilliant flashes of radio light that flare up from unimaginably far away, lasting only the tiniest fraction of a second, over almost before they've begun. In that one blink, some of them pour out more energy than our own sun gives off in the better part of a whole day. They come from galaxies so distant that the light has been traveling toward us for longer than the Earth has existed. And most of them we catch just once, a single flash, never to be seen again. Though every now and then, one of them repeats, flickering back to life from the very same spot in the sky, over and over, in no pattern anyone can quite pin down. We don't know what makes them. Maybe the last gasp of some collapsing star, maybe two dead suns, impossibly dense, spiraling together at the end of a long, slow dance. We may never know for sure. But there's something lovely in that, isn't there? All these tiny flashes lighting up the deep dark, like fireflies over a field at dusk, blinking on and off, keeping their small, bright secrets to themselves. Now let your thoughts wander a little closer to home, to the great ringed world that hangs out there in the cold, the one with all those beautiful bands of ice around it. If you were to float high above the top of that world, right over its northern pole, and look straight down, you'd find something that seems almost too neat to be real. A shape in the clouds. Not a swirl, not a smudge, but a shape with 6 clean sides. A great 6-sided figure, spinning slowly in the storms at the top of that planet, wide enough to swallow several worlds the size of ours. It's been turning up there, holding its careful shape, for as long as we've had the eyes to see it. And nobody quite knows why the clouds should gather themselves into such a tidy figure. The winds and the flowing air seem to fall somehow into that steady 6-sided pattern and hold it year after year, storm after storm. It's the kind of thing that feels like it ought to have been drawn on purpose by some careful hand. But it wasn't. It's just the way that far-off world chooses to arrange its clouds. A quiet piece of geometry, spinning gently in the cold, keeping itself in perfect order while no one's watching. And out beyond that ringed world, orbiting it, there's a moon that keeps a secret of its own. A hazy, golden moon, wrapped in a thick orange fog so dense you can't see its surface from above at all. For the longest time, it was just a soft, blurry ball to us, hiding whatever lay beneath. But we sent a little machine drifting down through all that haze, and what it found down there made the whole world of scientists go quiet with wonder. Rivers, lakes, whole seas, spread out across the surface, with rain falling from the sky to fill them, and rivers carving slow channels through the land. It looks, from a certain distance, almost exactly like home. Except it isn't water down there at all. It's far, far too cold on that moon for water. The rivers and the seas are made of something else entirely, a kind of fuel, cold and clear, that would be a gas here on Earth, but flows there like water flows here, pooling in the low places, falling as a slow, oily rain. It's the only other place we know of, anywhere, where liquid pools on the surface and rain falls from the sky. And what, if anything, might live in those strange cold seas? No one can say. We just know they're out there, lapping quietly at their shores in the dark, under that thick golden sky. Let that image carry you for a moment. A shoreline you'll never walk, under a sky you'll never see, with a slow tide rising and falling in the deep cold, patient and unhurried, the way everything out there seems to be. There's no rush anywhere in the sky tonight. Nothing out there is trying to get anywhere in a hurry. It all just turns and drifts and waits. Here's another gentle strangeness, closer in toward the sun. There's a world out there, not so very different from ours in size, a near neighbor really, and it spins the wrong way round. Nearly every world in our family of planets turns in the same direction, the way you'd expect, all of them wheeling along together. But this one bright, cloud-wrapped world turns slowly backward against the grain, so that if you were to stand on it, the sun would rise where you'd swear it ought to set. And it turns so very slowly that a single one of its days lasts longer than its entire year. Think of that, drifting off, a day longer than a year. The sun creeping so slowly across that sky that you could watch it for a lifetime and hardly see it move. Nobody's entirely sure why it turns backward like that. Perhaps, long ago, something struck it and tipped it over. Perhaps its own thick, heavy clouds, dragging and pulling over untold ages, slowly turned it around. It's another one of those soft puzzles we hold loosely, without needing an answer. A world that spins the wrong way, so gently, in no hurry at all. And there's yet another world further out that seems to have been tipped clean over on its side. Most of the planets spin more or less upright, like tops turning on a table. But this one, a cold and distant blue-green world, lies down on its side as it goes around the sun, rolling along its path like a ball, rather than spinning like a top, which means the seasons there must be strange beyond imagining. For years and years at a time, one whole half of that world faces the distant sun in a long, slow summer, while the other half sits in a long, deep winter's dark, before the two slowly trade places over the course of decades. What could have knocked a whole world over onto its side like that? Some great collision, long ago perhaps, in the young and crowded days of the solar system. Some tremendous blow that tipped it over and set it rolling. We can only guess. It just lies there now, on its side, rolling quietly around the sun in the cold, keeping its long, slow seasons all to itself. Let yourself sink a little deeper into the pillow as we drift on. There's no weight to any of this. You're just letting these far-off worlds turn past you, one by one, like scenes glimpsed from the window of a slow night train. None of them asking anything of you at all. Now here's a thing that's harder to picture, but softer still in its way. Every single second, without you ever feeling the slightest thing, countless tiny specks are passing straight through you, straight through your body, through your bed, through the whole solid earth beneath you, as though none of it were there at all. They pour off the sun in unthinkable numbers, and they stream in from the dying of distant stars, and they slip through everything, through mountains and oceans and worlds, hardly ever touching a single thing. Billions upon billions of them are passing through the tip of your finger as you lie here, and have been all your life, and you've never known. They're so shy, so faint, so unwilling to bump into anything, that to catch even a handful of them, we've had to build great tanks of water buried deep underground, and wait, patiently, in the dark, for one of them to brush against something at last. And there's a mystery in them too, a quiet one. As they travel, they seem to change, shifting quietly from one kind to another along the way, as though they can't quite make up their minds what they are. We don't fully understand why, but isn't it a soft and strange thing to rest with? That the whole universe is drifting through you, gentle as moonlight through a window, and you never feel a thing. And here's a deeper puzzle still, one that sits right at the bottom of everything. And yet, it's oddly comforting once you settle into it. When the universe was very, very young, in the first faint moment of everything, there should have been equal parts of two kinds of stuff. Ordinary matter, the sort that makes up you and me and the stars, and its mirror image opposite, a kind of anti-stuff, exactly the same but reversed. And when those two things meet, they undo each other completely, vanishing in a little flash of light. So by all rights, in those first moments, everything should have met its opposite and simply canceled out, leaving nothing behind but light. No stars, no worlds, no you. And yet here you are. Somehow, for reasons no one fully understands, there was just the tiniest bit more of the ordinary stuff than the other. A slight, gentle imbalance, one extra speck for every billion or so. And that tiny leftover, that little bit that had nothing to cancel it out, is everything. It's every star in the sky, every grain of sand, every soft breath you take. All of it is just the small remainder that was left over after the great undoing. We don't know why the balance tipped that way, but I find it a tender thought to fall asleep on, honestly. That everything you've ever known is the leftover, the small, lucky remainder, the part that got to stay. There's a cold spot out there too, if you can believe it, tucked into the oldest light in the whole universe. When we look far enough out in every direction, we can see a faint, even glow, the leftover warmth from the very beginning of things, spread almost perfectly smoothly across the whole sky. Almost, because there's one patch off in a particular corner that's just a little cooler than all the rest. A great, wide region where the ancient warmth dips down ever so slightly, larger than it seems it has any right to be. And nobody's quite sure why it's there. Some have wondered, softly, whether it might be a place where our universe brushes up against something else, some neighbor we can't see. Others think it's simply a great emptiness, a vast, quiet room in space with fewer stars and galaxies than anywhere else, so still and empty that the light passing through it cools just a touch on its way to us. We don't know. It's just there, a cool, calm hollow in the oldest light there is, keeping its counsel, waiting patiently for us to understand. And that patience, you know, is the whole spirit of these far-off things. Not one of them is troubled by our not knowing. The backward-spinning world doesn't mind that we can't explain it. The six-sided storm keeps its shape, whether we understand it or not. The tiny specks pour through you all night long, asking nothing, explaining nothing, perfectly content in their mystery. And you can be just the same. You can lie here in the soft dark and let every one of these puzzles simply be unsolved and unbothered, turning slowly out there while you rest here, warm and easy and still. Before we drift on toward the next of these gentle secrets, let me leave one small, quiet thought with you, and you can carry it down into sleep or let it float away, whichever you like. If one of these mysteries has settled into you tonight, if there's one far-off world or one strange flicker of light that you'd like to wander through again, you're always welcome to leave a little note about it in the comments whenever you wake and tell me which one caught you. It's a soft thing to read, honestly, hearing which of these quiet wonders stayed with people through the night. And it helps these gentle journeys find their way to others who are lying awake in the dark, looking for a little rest. But there's nothing to do about any of that now. Now there's only the warm weight of the blankets and the slow rise and fall of your own easy breathing, and the whole wide sky turning softly overhead, in no hurry at all, keeping its endless quiet company while you sink, gently, deeper and deeper towards sleep. There's a moon out there, one of the many that circle the giant planets, and it holds a secret under its skin that scientists still turn over in their minds late at night. From the outside, it looks like a smooth, pale ball of ice, cracked here and there with long, faint lines, like the shell of an egg that's been handled a little too much. Nothing about it seems remarkable at first, but down beneath that frozen crust, hidden away from the cold of space, there's water. A whole ocean of it, dark and deep and quiet, wrapped all the way around the little world. More water, some think, than there is in every sea on Earth put together. And no one knows what's down there. No one knows if that buried ocean is empty and still, or whether, in the warm dark near its floor, something soft and small might be stirring. We can't see through the ice. We can only wonder. And so it stays there, turning slowly in the dark, keeping its deep water folded away like a secret it isn't ready to share. You can let that thought drift down through you now. The idea of a hidden sea, calm and lightless and patient, waiting under the ice while you rest here under your blankets. And here's a gentle thing about that same moon, or one much like it. Every so often, from long cracks near its bottom, great plumes of that hidden water go drifting up into space, rising in slow, silent fountains taller than mountains. They freeze almost at once into a fine mist of ice, glittering faintly in the far-off sunlight. And then they settle back down like the softest snow that ever fell. It's a strange and lovely thing to picture, a world quietly breathing its ocean out into the dark, over and over, for millions and millions of years. We're only beginning to understand how it works, why the cracks open where they do, what keeps that water warm enough to move at all. But you don't need the answer to enjoy the picture. Just let it hang there in your mind, the slow snow falling upward into the black, glittering and gentle, going nowhere in a hurry. Now let your thoughts wander a little farther out, to a place where a great planet wears its rings like a wide, pale halo. You've probably seen it in a picture somewhere. That beautiful world circled round by those flat, shining bands. And here's the quiet mystery of it. Those rings, for all their grandness, are astonishingly thin. If you shrank the whole ring system down to the width of a city, it would be thinner than a sheet of paper laid across it. They're made of countless pieces of ice and rock, some as small as grains of sugar, some as big as a house, all of them drifting along together in perfect, silent order, going round and round, without ever quite bumping their way out of line. And the thing we can't fully settle is how old they are and how long they'll last. Some believe the rings are ancient, as old as the planet itself. Others think they're young, that they appeared long after the dinosaurs were gone from Earth, and that one day, far in the future, they'll fade away again, raining slowly down onto the planet below until the sky around that world is bare once more. So we may be living in the one brief stretch of time when the rings are there to be seen at all. Isn't that a soft thing to hold? That we happen to arrive just in time to catch a glimpse of something passing. You don't have to do anything with that. Just let it settle, light as dust, and breathe. Somewhere else out in the dark, there's a pair of stars locked together, circling one another the way two dancers might, slow and endless, held close by nothing but the pull between them. Lots of stars come in pairs like this, it turns out, more than come alone. And some of these pairs do something we still don't fully understand. Now and then, one of them will flare or dim or send out a soft, regular pulse of light, a rhythm so steady you could almost set a clock by it, ticking away across the emptiness for thousands upon thousands of years. Some of these steady beats are so reliable that we use them quietly as a kind of lighthouse, a way of finding our bearings in the vastness. But there are others whose rhythm shifts in ways we can't quite explain, speeding up or slowing down for reasons that stay just out of reach. And they don't mind that we can't explain them. They just go on pulsing in the dark, patient and unhurried, keeping their own slow time, whether anyone is listening or not. Let your breath fall into an easy rhythm of its own now, in and out, soft and slow, keeping time with nothing in particular. There's nowhere you need to be. There's nothing you need to solve. There's only the slow beat of your own breathing, carrying you gently down. Let yourself grow a little heavier now, sinking further into the warmth of the bed as we drift towards something even stranger and softer than before. Out among the stars, there are enormous clouds, vast and slow drifting, made of gas and dust spread across distances so wide it would take light itself thousands of years to cross from one edge to the other. These are the places where new stars are born. Deep inside those cool, dark clouds, in the quietest and densest pockets, matter gathers itself together, ever so slowly, over ages beyond counting, until at last a new light kindles in the dark and begins to shine. And we still don't fully understand the moment it happens, the exact turning point when a cold cloud of nothing much becomes a star. It's hidden from us, wrapped up inside all that dust, happening so slowly and so far away that we only ever catch pieces of the story. But think of it, softly, as you lie here. All across the sky, in 1,000 hidden nurseries, new stars are quietly coming into being, warming up in the dark, taking their first slow breaths of light. And every star you've ever seen was born just this way once, gently, out of a cold and patient cloud. There's something so restful in that. The idea that even the brightest things begin in the quiet dark, taking their time, in no hurry to arrive. And those same great clouds hold another gentle puzzle, scattered all through them, drifting in the cold between the stars, We found the makings of things we usually think of as belonging only to living worlds, the soft, simple pieces from which more complicated things are built, floating freely out there in the emptiness, formed somehow in the space between one star and the next. No one's entirely sure how they came to be there, in the deep cold, so far from any warmth. But they are drifting quietly through those vast dark clouds, the plain beginnings of something, waiting in the dark. Some people find that a haunting thought, and others find it a hopeful one, that the raw ingredients of the world are sprinkled all through the empty places, patient and ready. You don't have to decide which it is tonight. You can just let it be one more soft, unanswered thing, turning slowly out there in the dark while you rest. Now, closer to home, there's a small puzzle that's kept people quietly wondering for a long while. Our own star, the sun, has a kind of weather to it, a slow rhythm of storms and calms that rises and falls over years. There are times when its surface is speckled with dark, cooler patches, great spots that come and go, and times when it grows smooth and quiet again. This slow breathing in and out takes about 11 years to complete, more or less, a long, steady rhythm that's been ticking along for as far back as we've kept watch. But we can't quite predict it. We know roughly when the busy times and the quiet times will come, but not exactly. And every so often the sun surprises us, staying quiet longer than it should, or stirring up more than we expected. Once, long ago, before there was anyone to fully understand it, the sun went strangely still for the better part of a lifetime, its spots nearly vanishing, and the world below grew a touch colder for a while. Why it happened, and whether it might happen again, we still can't say for certain. So even our own star, the nearest one, the one that warms your face on a summer afternoon, keeps a little mystery tucked away, a slow rhythm we can feel but never quite finish measuring. Let that settle over you. The thought of the sun breathing slowly in the dark on the far side of the world, quiet now, waiting for morning, in no rush to rise. Let your shoulders go soft. Let your jaw unclench, just a little. There's a kind of dust out there too, so fine and so faint that we almost missed it entirely, spread thin across the whole of our star system. On certain clear, dark nights, if you're somewhere far from any town, and you look toward the place where the sun went down long after it's gone, you might catch the faintest cone of pale light leaning up from the horizon, softer than the glow of any city, so dim that most people live their whole lives without ever noticing it. That gentle light is sunlight, scattering off countless tiny grains of dust, drifting through the empty spaces between the planets. And where all that dust comes from, and how it stays where it is, and why it forms the shapes it does. These are things we're still piecing together, slowly, night by night. It's the quietest kind of glow, the sort of thing you'd only see if you were still enough and patient enough and far enough from the noise of the world, a soft light made of specks too small to hold. You can carry that image down with you now, the pale, gentle cone leaning up from the edge of a dark and silent land, glimmering faintly with dust, asking nothing of anyone. And speaking of the quiet spaces between the planets, there's a strange, gentle thing about where the sun's reach finally ends. Far, far out, past all the worlds we know, the sun goes on breathing out a thin, steady stream of itself, a soft wind of tiny particles flowing outward in every direction, farther than any planet, farther than the icy little worlds beyond them. And somewhere out there, unimaginably distant, that wind finally grows too faint to push any farther, and it meets the thin drift of everything that lies between the stars, and it simply stops. That boundary, that soft and invisible shore where our sun's influence ends and the wider galaxy begins, is a real place. Though there's nothing there to see, no wall, no line, just a slow fading, a gentle giving way. We've sent a few small, patient travelers all the way out to cross it. Machines we launched long ago that have been drifting outward ever since. And even now, after all this time, we're still not entirely sure of its shape, or how it shifts, or exactly where it lies. It's the edge of the only home our sun has ever made in the dark, a quiet threshold at the far end of everything familiar. And past it lies the great wide sea of the galaxy, vast and calm and waiting. Let yourself rest right here on the near side of all that, safe and warm and small, with the whole soft distance stretching out beyond you, going on and on, gently, into the dark. There's a comfort in all this distance, isn't there? In knowing how much room there is out there, how much slow and patient space, all of it turning quietly, none of it needing a single thing from you tonight. The hidden ocean under the ice goes on being dark and deep. The thin rings go on drifting in their perfect silent order. The paired stars go on circling, and the new stars go on kindling in their dusty cradles, and the sun goes on breathing its long, slow breath on the far side of the world, and the soft edge of everything goes on fading, gently, into the space between the stars. None of it is in any hurry. None of it is troubled by the questions we can't answer. It all just turns and drifts and glows, quietly, endlessly, whether we're watching or not. And you can be just the same now. You can let every one of these gentle mysteries go on without you, unsolved and unbothered, while you lie here in the warm dark, growing softer and heavier, and more still with each slow breath. There's nothing to hold. There's nothing to finish. There's only the quiet turning of far-off things, and the easy rise and fall of your own breathing, carrying you deeper and deeper and deeper still towards sleep. Somewhere out beyond all of that, drifting through the deep between the stars, there are travelers that don't belong to us at all. Every now and then, something wanders into our little corner of space from somewhere else entirely. A stray visitor that formed around some other star, long ago and far away, and was cast out into the dark to drift alone for ages. A few years back, we caught a glimpse of one, just for a little while, a strange, long shape tumbling silently through our neighborhood, moving far too fast to have ever belonged here, on a path that could only have come from the wider galaxy beyond. It was already leaving almost as soon as we noticed it, sliding back out into the black, and we never did get a proper look. We're still not sure what it truly was, whether it was a splinter of rock, or a shard of ice, or something stranger still. It came from somewhere none of us will ever go, and it's out there right now, tumbling on, carrying its secret with it into the dark. Isn't that a soft thing to rest your mind on? A quiet wanderer passing through, asking nothing, needing nothing, simply drifting on its long way home to nowhere in particular. And while we're thinking of things that wander without a star to call their own, let your thoughts settle on this for a moment. Out in the great spaces between the suns, there are whole worlds adrift, planets with no star at all, no warm light to circle, no steady glow to lean toward. They roam the dark alone, cold and silent, drifting through the galaxy on paths that will take them millions of years to complete, if they complete them at all. There may be countless numbers of them out there, more of these lonely, starless worlds than there are stars in the whole sky, each one a dark ball of rock or gas, wrapped in an endless night. We can hardly see them, of course. A world without a sun gives off almost no light of its own, so we catch them only by the faintest of tricks, by the way their gravity gently bends the light of something far behind them, just for a moment, as they pass. And then they're gone again, back into the dark. There's something strangely peaceful about them, these quiet, drifting worlds, going on and on through the long night, in no hurry, bothered by nothing, simply carried along by the slow turning of the galaxy. You can drift a little like that yourself now, untethered and easy, floating gently through the warm dark of your room, needing no light, needing nothing at all, just carried softly along toward sleep. Now, closer to home, there's a mystery hiding at the very center of the smallest of our neighboring worlds, the little one that races closest to the sun. It's a small world, hardly bigger than our own moon, and yet, when we measure the way it moves, the way it holds itself together, we find something that doesn't quite add up. At its heart lies an enormous core of metal, far, far larger than a world of its size has any right to have, taking up most of the whole planet, so that the little world is really a great ball of iron wrapped in only the thinnest skin of rock. And no one is entirely sure why. Some think that long ago, when the worlds were young and the whole neighborhood was a rougher, wilder place, this little planet was struck a tremendous blow, and much of its outer layers were stripped away and scattered, leaving only the dense heart behind. Others think it was born that way, gathered together from unusually heavy stuff so near the young sun. We've sent careful machines to circle it and peer down at it, and still the question sits there, quiet and unresolved, at the center of that small, hot, hurrying world. You don't need to settle it tonight. Just let it be. A little heart of iron turning slowly in the light, far away, keeping its secret. And then there's a marvel at the pole of that great striped world with the beautiful rings, something so strange and orderly that when we first saw it clearly, it hardly seemed it could be real. There, wrapped around the very top of the planet, is a vast pattern in the clouds, a shape with 6 clean, straight sides, a great slow figure drawn in the storms, turning endlessly around the pole. It's enormous, far larger across than our whole Earth, and it holds its shape year after year, 6 sides, 6 neat corners, as if some careful hand had traced it into the swirling gas. Nothing else in all the worlds we know looks quite like it. We have some gentle ideas about how the winds might arrange themselves into such a shape, how the flowing bands of air might settle into that steady 6-sided pattern. But there's still a real wonder to it, a sense of something almost too tidy to have happened on its own. Picture it now if you like, that great calm shape turning slowly in the golden clouds, high above a world of storms, drawing its patient 6-sided path around and around the pole, in no hurry, never tiring, never breaking. Let it turn in the back of your mind, slow and steady, as your breathing turns slow and steady too. Somewhere in the deep beyond, there are objects so faint and so far that they've puzzled us since the very first night we noticed them. Long ago, when we first pointed our finest instruments out into the dark, we found tiny points of light that seemed, at first, to be ordinary stars, but weren't. They were something else entirely, something small and impossibly bright, blazing away from distances so vast that the light we were seeing had been traveling toward us since before the Earth was even formed. Each one is the fierce, glowing heart of a young galaxy, a place where matter is falling inward and heating until it shines brighter than 100 billion suns, all pouring out of a spot no bigger than our own little corner of space. For a long time, we couldn't make sense of them at all. These faraway beacons, too bright to be stars, too small to be galaxies. We understand them a little better now, but they still hold their mysteries, still surprise us with how bright they are, how early they appeared, how quickly they seem to have switched themselves on in the young universe. And the loveliest part is this: every one of them is a window into the deep past, a light that set out on its journey so long ago that to see it now is to look back across almost the whole life of the universe. You're seeing something that no longer exists as it was, a glow from the far edge of time, arriving softly here, tonight, for you. There's another quiet puzzle scattered right through everything, and it has to do with the ordinary stuff that worlds are made of. When we add up all the plain matter that ought to be out there, all the gas and dust and simple everyday material left over from the beginning of things, and then we go looking for it, we find that a good deal of it seems to be missing. Not the strange, invisible stuff we spoke of earlier, but the ordinary kind, the kind that makes up you and me, and the ground, and the air. By our best reckoning, there should be more of it than we can actually find. And for a long while, we simply couldn't work out where it had all gone. Slowly, gently, we've begun to think that much of it is hiding in vast, thin, warm threads stretched between the galaxies. Wisps of gas so faint and so spread out across such enormous distances that we can barely tell they're there at all. Great invisible bridges of matter, linking one island of stars to the next, holding the whole cosmic web together in the dark. We're still tracing them, still learning their shapes. But isn't it a soft thought that even the empty-looking spaces between the galaxies might not be empty at all, but gently threaded with the quiet, missing stuff of the universe, holding everything loosely together while it drifts? And speaking of those great threads, the whole arrangement of the universe, when you pull far enough back, turns out to have a shape that no one quite expected. If you could stand outside it all and look at how the galaxies are spread through space, you wouldn't find them scattered evenly like grains of sand. You'd find them gathered into long glowing filaments and great curving walls, wrapped around enormous dark hollows, where there's almost nothing at all. Vast empty rooms in the cosmos, some of them so wide that light itself takes an unimaginably long time to cross them. It looks, when you see it drawn out, a little like a great soft web, or the fine threads inside a living thing, strands of light around wells of darkness, on and on, as far as we can see in every direction. Why it settled into just this pattern, why the matter of the young universe drew itself up into these particular threads and walls and hollows, is something we're still working out, still tracing with our patient instruments night after night. It's one of the biggest shapes there is, the shape of everything, and we're only beginning to understand it. You can let that great gentle web hang there in your mind now, glowing softly, turning slowly, holding all its quiet, dark rooms, none of which you ever need to enter, none of which need anything from you. There's a hollow out there, in one direction, that's stranger than most. A great round emptiness so large and so empty that when we first mapped it, we could hardly believe how little was inside. A vast dark room in the cosmos, far wider than it seems it ought to be, with only the barest scattering of galaxies drifting through all that space, where by rights there should be far more. We don't fully understand how such an enormous quiet space came to be, how so much of the universe in that one direction ended up so nearly empty. It just sits there, in the deep, a great calm hollow of almost nothing, going on and on. And there's a peacefulness to that too, isn't there? To the idea of a place that big and that empty and that still, asking nothing, holding nothing, simply resting in the dark. You can rest like that hollow now, wide and quiet and calm, with all the busy things of the day drifting far away at the edges, and nothing but soft space in the middle. Then there's a slow, invisible pull at work on our whole neighborhood of galaxies, something drawing us gently through space toward a place we cannot even see. Our own galaxy and all its nearby companions are being tugged steadily in one particular direction, sliding through the cosmos towards some great gathering of mass hidden behind the crowded band of our own starlight, so that we can't get a clear look at what's doing the pulling. We've given it a quiet name that simply means the thing that draws us in. And for a long time, it was one of the great puzzles of the sky. This unseen weight that had our whole local family of galaxies drifting toward it. We understand a little more now. We've begun to see that it's part of an even larger gathering of galaxies, a great sprawling home that we ourselves belong to. But there's still mystery in it, still more mass unaccounted for, still a sense of being gently carried somewhere we can't quite make out. And it's happening to you right now, in a way, this very moment, as you lie here, the whole galaxy around you drifting softly through the dark toward that faraway pull, carrying you along with it, so slowly and so smoothly that you'll never feel a thing. Just a gentle, endless motion through the deep, cradling you as you go. Let all of that settle over you now. The wandering starless worlds, and the little iron heart of the closest planet, the six-sided storm, and the far bright beacons, and the missing stuff hiding in its faint warm threads, the great glowing web, and its quiet empty rooms, and the slow unseen pull that carries us all along. None of it is asking to be solved tonight. None of it minds in the least that we don't have the answers. It simply goes on, turning and drifting and glowing in the dark, patient beyond all patience, while you grow heavier and warmer and softer against your pillow, your breath slowing, your thoughts loosening, each one drifting off like one of those lonely worlds slipping quietly back into the night. There's nothing to reach for. There's nothing to hold. There's only the long, slow turning of far-off things, and the gentle rise and fall of your own breathing, carrying you down, and further down still, toward the deep and easy quiet of sleep. And now, while everything stays so soft and slow, let's drift a little further out, to something that turns quietly at the very center of our own galaxy. There, tucked deep in the crowded heart of all those stars, is a great spinning place. And right around it, the stars themselves move in ways that have puzzled us for a long while. Some of them race along at speeds that hardly seem possible. whipping around that central point far faster than anything so far away has any right to do. We watch them over years, tracing their slow, bright paths across the dark, and we find that they hold together in patterns we can't fully explain, drawn along by pulls we can only partly account for. And yet there's nothing frantic about it. Not really. From out here, from your warm and quiet bed, it all looks like the gentlest kind of turning. A great slow wheel of light going round and round in the deep, carrying its countless stars along with it, patient and unhurried, the way a mobile turns softly above a sleeping child. You can let that wheel turn in your mind now, slow and bright and far away, and let it carry your thoughts around with it, round and round, softer each time. Then, drifting out past the edges of that great turning, there are the little wandering lights we've watched for hundreds of years, the ones that don't sit still like the stars, but roam slowly across the sky from night to night. Long ago, people noticed that a few of these lights would sometimes seem to stop and turn and drift backward for a while, tracing strange loops against the fixed stars before carrying on their way again. For the longest time, no one could make sense of it. This odd little dance the wandering worlds would do, pausing and reversing and moving on. We understand the shape of it much better now. We know it comes from the way we and those other worlds swing around the sun at different speeds, passing one another like boats on a wide, slow river. But there's still something lovely and mysterious in the sight of it, in the way those distant worlds seem to hesitate up there, as if they too were growing drowsy, slowing down, thinking about turning back towards sleep. You don't have to follow their paths. You only have to let them wander up there in the dark, while you stay here, warm and still, going nowhere at all. Let's stay gentle now, and think for a moment about the light that reaches us from the most distant places of all. When we look out at the farthest galaxies, the ones so far away that their light has been traveling toward us since almost the beginning of everything, we find something quietly strange in the way that light arrives. It comes to us stretched and reddened, its colors pulled long and soft by all the vast space it's crossed, so that the light of those ancient galaxies reaches us not as the bright blue-white it may once have been, but as a deep and tired glow, worn gentle by the enormous journey. And in the exact shade of that stretching, in just how far the colors have been pulled, we read the whole slow story of how far that light has come, and how long it's been traveling through the dark to find us. Some of it has been on its way for almost the entire age of the universe, crossing the emptiness for longer than there's been an earth to catch it. And it arrives here, now, tonight, to settle softly against the eye of some patient machine we've pointed at the sky. There's a tenderness in that, isn't there? In the thought of light that old and that faint finally coming to rest after such an endless journey. The way you're coming to rest now, letting the long day settle behind you at last. And here's something softer still. Out among the great clouds of gas that drift between the stars, in some of those clouds, where new stars are slowly being born, we've found faint traces of things we didn't expect to find so far from any living world. Delicate arrangements of matter that seem almost to lean toward the kinds of shapes that living things are built from. We don't fully understand how they come to be out there, in the cold and the dark, so far from any warmth. Somehow, in the quiet drifting of those clouds, over ages beyond counting, The simplest pieces of the universe find their way slowly together into more and more intricate forms, building up patient little structures in the emptiness, with no one watching and nothing hurrying them along. It's the sort of mystery that doesn't trouble the sleep at all. It just sits out there, glowing faintly, a great slow work being done in the dark over unimaginable stretches of time, gentle and unwitnessed, asking nothing of anyone. And you can let it go on without you. All that slow, soft building out among the stars, while your own body grows heavier and simpler and easier, letting go of the day, one small piece at a time. Now let your breath go soft again, slow and even, and let's drift toward a puzzle that lives right inside the light of the stars themselves. When we look closely at the sun and at the deep churning fires that keep it shining, we find that the numbers don't quite match what we expected. That certain faint particles, which ought to come streaming out of its heart, arrive at Earth in different amounts than the simplest picture would suggest. For a long time, this was a real puzzle. This quiet mismatch between the sun we thought we understood and the tiny messengers that actually reached us from inside it. We've learned a good deal since then. We've come to see that those little particles change their nature on the long journey out, shifting quietly from one kind to another as they travel, so that they arrive wearing a different face than the one they set out with. But there's still wonder in it, still a soft strangeness. The idea that even the light and the substance pouring out of our own nearest star carries little secrets in it, little quiet transformations happening all the way across the gulf between the sun and us. You don't need to hold on to any of that. Let it pour past you the way those particles do, silent and endless and harmless, washing gently through everything, through the walls and the dark, and through you, and out the other side into the night. Let's go softer still, out at the very edges of our own solar system, far past the last of the great planets. There's a boundary of sorts, a place where the steady outward breath of the sun finally grows thin and slow and gives way to the wider dark between the stars. We've sent a small handful of our farthest travelers out toward that boundary. Quiet little machines launched long ago that have been flying outward ever since. And when they finally crossed that far threshold, they sent back word of things we hadn't quite expected. Subtle shifts in the way the emptiness out there behaves. Faint pushes and pressures we're still working to understand. It's the very frontier of everything we've ever touched. That place, the last thin edge of the sun's long reach. And beyond it lies the true deep, the great open dark between one star and the next. And our little travelers are out there right now, this very moment, drifting on through that frontier so far away that the light they gather takes many hours to reach us, carrying on quietly into the night with no one to keep them company but the stars. There's something peaceful in knowing they're out there, isn't there? These patient little wanderers going gently on and on, long after the hands that built them have grown still. You can drift alongside them for a moment in your mind, out past the edge of everything, into the wide, soft dark, and then let even that slip away. And here, closer to home, is a small, quiet mystery you could almost hold in your hand. Our own world, the ground beneath your house, the whole great turning globe of it, is wrapped in an invisible shield, a soft field of force that reaches out from deep inside the planet and curves all around us, turning aside the harsher winds that blow from the sun. We know it comes from the slow churning of molten metal far beneath our feet, this quiet protective field. But there's a great deal about it we still don't fully understand. The way it slowly shifts and wanders over the ages. The way it has, now and then, across the long history of the earth, grown weak and turned itself around entirely, so that what was north became south and south became north. It happened slowly, over spans of time so vast they're hard even to imagine. And it's happening in some small way even now, the field drifting and changing far too gradually for anyone to feel. But think of it, that gentle unseen shield curving all around the world tonight, wrapping the whole planet and everyone asleep on it, in its quiet protection, turning the rough weather of space softly aside so that we can rest easy underneath. You're inside it right now, cradled within it, safe under that great invisible curve. And you have been every night of your life without ever once having to think about it. Let it hold you now, the way it always has. Let's slow down even more and let the words come farther apart, softer and heavier, like the last few leaves drifting down at the end of autumn. Somewhere out in the deep, there are the remnants of stars that have died, small, dense cinders left behind when the great fires finally went out. And some of them spin, round and round, many times each second, sending out a steady beat of light as they turn, like the sweep of a far-off lighthouse crossing the dark sea. When we first found them, long ago, those perfectly regular pulses coming in from the depths of space were so steady, so precise, that for a little while we hardly knew what to make of them. These faint clockwork beats arriving from somewhere out among the stars. We understand them well enough now. We know they're just the turning of those dense little remnants, sweeping their beam across us again and again with each rotation. But there's a lovely rhythm to the thought of them. All those tiny far-off beacons out in the dark, each one pulsing away at its own slow, steady pace, keeping a kind of quiet time across the whole enormous reach of the galaxy. You might let your own breathing fall into a rhythm like that now, slow and even and regular, in and out, each breath a little softer than the one before, keeping your own gentle time here in the warm and quiet dark. And far beyond even those, out where whole galaxies gather together in great slow crowds, we sometimes see the light of the most distant things bent and curved as it passes by, so that a single faraway galaxy might appear to us doubled, or smeared into a soft glowing arc, or ringed all the way around by its own stretched light. It's the great gathered weight of everything in between that does it, bending the very path the light must travel, so that the deep dark itself acts like a vast and gentle lens, curving the ancient light around and bringing us these soft, distorted glimpses of things far too distant to see any other way. There's still so much we're learning from it, so much hidden weight we can only find by watching how it bends the passing light. But set the learning aside for now, and just picture it. All that old light from the beginning of things flowing quietly across the universe, curving softly around the great dark shapes it passes, bending and pooling, and finding its way to us at last through the long, slow lens of the cosmos. Everything out there is so patient with its light, so unhurried, letting it wander for ages across the dark. And none of it minds in the least how long the journey takes. So let all of that gather around you now, soft and dim and far away, the great turning wheel at the heart of the galaxy, and the little worlds that seem to pause and drift backward in the sky. The ancient tired light stretched long across the deep, and the quiet building of things in the cold between the stars. The secret changing particles pouring out of the sun, and our small, brave travelers slipping past the edge of everything. The unseen shield curving gently all around the world, and the steady, far-off beacons keeping their slow time in the dark. And the old light bending softly around the great gathered weight of the cosmos on its long way home to us. Not one of these things needs anything from you tonight. Not one of them is waiting on an answer. They simply go on turning and drifting and glowing out there in the deep, endlessly patient, endlessly calm, while you sink a little deeper into the warmth beneath you, your breath slower now, your thoughts loosening and drifting apart, each one floating gently off into the dark like a distant light going soft. There's nothing left to reach for. There's nothing at all to hold. There's only the long, slow turning of far-off things, and the quiet rise and fall of your own easy breathing, carrying you down, and gently further down, toward the deep and peaceful quiet of sleep, somewhere far above the world you're resting on, farther than the highest cloud, farther than the little machines that circle the earth. There are tiny travelers coming down out of the dark with more force in them than seems fair for something so small. We call them cosmic rays, though they're not really rays at all, just little specks of matter, single scraps of atoms, thrown out from somewhere far away and flung across the galaxy at speeds so great they're almost past believing. Most of them are gentle enough, drifting in from the sun or from old exploded stars, arriving quietly and slipping through the air without a whisper. But every now and then, once in a long while, one comes down carrying so much force packed into so small a thing that no one can quite explain it. Years ago, over a stretch of quiet desert, our instruments caught a single one of these, one lonely speck, moving with more energy than we thought any tiny thing could ever hold. So much that the scientists who found it gave it a name that meant simple, wide-eyed wonder. And here's the soft, strange part, the part you can let drift over you now. We still don't really know where it came from. We know roughly the patch of sky it fell out of. But when we look there, there's nothing that ought to be able to make such a thing. No dying star close enough, no great churning place, nothing at all that fits. It's as though the dark itself simply handed us one impossible little traveler and offered no word of explanation. You don't need to solve that puzzle tonight. You can just picture that one small speck falling for millions of years across the whole width of the galaxy, patient and silent, carrying its secret all that way, and arriving at last on a quiet night with no one able to say where its long journey began. And speaking of long journeys and quiet skies, there's another mystery out there that isn't really a thing at all, but rather the absence of a thing. And it's one of the gentlest puzzles of them all. When we look out at the galaxy, at all those hundreds of billions of stars turning slowly around the great bright center, we can't help but wonder if any of them hold worlds like ours, and whether on any of those worlds there might be someone, on some far quiet night, looking back this way and wondering the very same thing. The galaxy is so old and so wide and so full of stars with worlds of their own that it seems like the odds should be in favor of company. And yet, when we listen patiently, year after year, sweeping our great dishes across the sky and waiting for some small, deliberate whisper to come drifting in from the dark, what we mostly hear is a soft and enormous quiet. No calls, no signals meant for us. Just the gentle, natural crackle of the universe going about its slow business. Some people find that lonely, but I've always thought there was something peaceful in it, honestly. Maybe everyone out there is simply resting. Maybe the galaxy is full of quiet worlds where the evening has come and the lights are being turned down low, each one keeping its own gentle silence. None of them needing to reach across the dark tonight. All of them content to simply be, turning slowly in the warmth of their own small suns. You can let that quiet settle over you now. The great soft hush of the whole galaxy. A silence so vast and so calm that it feels less like being alone and more like being tucked in among countless sleeping neighbors, every one of them at peace in the dark. Now let your thoughts drift a little wider still, out past the stars and past the galaxy, out to the very shape of everything. Here's a question so large and so strange that it barely fits inside the mind at all. And that's all right, because you don't need to hold it, only to let it float by. We've long wondered what shape the whole universe truly has. Not the things inside it, but the great dark stage they all rest upon. You might imagine it curving gently around on itself, the way the surface of the world you live on curves, so that if you traveled far enough in one straight line, you might somehow come softly back around to where you started. Or you might imagine it curving the other way, opening endlessly outward like a great wide saddle stretching on forever. Or it might be neither of those, but flat and level and true, running straight on into the dark without ever bending at all. And when we measure it as carefully as we know how, reading the shape from the faint old glow left over from the beginning of things, we find that it looks, as near as we can tell, almost perfectly flat, so wonderfully level, and even that it raises a whole quiet question of its own. Because a thing doesn't usually come out that balanced by accident. Something in the very first moments must have smoothed it all so gently even, and we're still not sure quite what, but set that aside and just rest in the picture of it. The whole universe stretching out around you, level and calm and even in every direction. A great flat, quiet field with no edge and no lean to it, holding you gently at its center the way still water holds the reflection of the sky. And within all that great level space, the galaxies aren't fixed in place either, but slowly moving, some drifting apart, and some, here and there, drifting quietly toward one another. Our own galaxy has a great neighbor, another wide wheel of countless stars, turning far off in the dark. And slowly, ever so slowly, the two of us are drawing closer. Over an unimaginable stretch of time, so long that it hardly means anything at all to a single quiet night like this one. The two great wheels will lean in toward each other and begin a slow and gentle mingling, sliding softly through and around one another. Their stars so far apart that almost none of them will ever touch, the whole thing unfolding over so many ages that from the inside, it would seem like nothing more than the slow rearranging of the lights in the sky across a span of time longer than the mind can follow. There's nothing frightening in it. It's the softest, slowest coming together imaginable. Two great crowds of stars easing into one another over billions of quiet years. Like two slow rivers of light joining and becoming one wider, brighter stream. And by the time it happens, it will all be so gradual, so unhurried, that anyone around to see it would only ever glimpse the smallest sliver of the change. The way you might notice the light shifting by the tiniest degree across a long, lazy afternoon. You can let that slow, gentle joining carry you. Two whole galaxies leaning softly together across the ages, in no hurry at all, patient beyond all measure, drifting toward one another through the warm and endless dark. There are stars, too, that keep their own quiet mysteries closer to home, ones we've watched with our own eyes for as long as anyone can remember. High in the winter sky, in one of the oldest and most familiar patterns of stars, there's a great shoulder of red light, an old giant of a star so swollen and so vast that if you set it down where our own sun sits, it would swallow up nearly everything we know, reaching out past world after world. It's an old star, near the end of its long life, and it burns with a deep, warm color, the soft red of a fire that's settling down toward its final embers. And a little while ago, this old giant did something that surprised everyone who watches the sky. It began to dim, slowly, quietly, over a stretch of weeks. Its steady light faded down and down, until it was only a fraction of its old brightness, so noticeably dimmer that even someone glancing up on a cold, clear night might have seen the difference. And for a time, no one was quite sure what it meant, whether the old star was finally nearing its end, or whether something else was afoot. In the end, it seems it may only have been a great breath of dust, a soft, dark veil the star had breathed out into space, drifting across its face and dimming its light for a while before clearing again and letting it shine back to its old self. But there's still so much we don't fully understand about why it dimmed so, and how these great old stars behave in their final long ages. You don't need to worry over it. You can simply picture that ancient red giant hanging there in the winter dark, breathing out its soft, slow veils of dust, dimming and brightening again over the years, like a great warm ember gently pulsing, in no hurry at all to reach whatever end is coming, taking its time across the ages the way everything out there always does. And here's one last soft, strange thing to let drift through your mind as you sink a little deeper towards sleep. One of the oldest and quietest puzzles of all, so simple that we hardly ever stop to notice it. Time, out there and here alike, seems only to run one way. The moments fall always forward, from what has been toward what is coming, never slipping back the way they came. A cup of warm tea cools slowly into the room and never gathers its warmth back up again. The light streams outward from the stars and never comes flowing home. Everything drifts, always, from the ordered toward the gently scattered, from the gathered toward the softly spread. And the strange part, the part that's puzzled the deepest thinkers for a very long time, is that when we look at the smallest rules that everything seems to follow, the quiet laws that guide each tiny piece of the world, almost none of them seem to care which way time is running. They'd work just as well backward as forward. And yet the whole great flow of things only ever goes one way, always forward, always onward, gently and without exception. No one is entirely sure why the universe chose this one soft direction and holds to it so faithfully. But there's something restful in it too, when you let yourself feel it. You don't have to hold on to any moment, or reach back for the ones already gone, or hurry toward the ones still coming. You can simply let the gentle current of time carry you the way it carries everything else, softly forward, moment easing into moment, the whole quiet river of it flowing on beneath you and around you, asking nothing of you at all, bearing you gently onward into the deep and easy dark. So let all of these settle around you now, soft and dim and far away. The one small, impossible traveler falling for ages out of a sky that holds no answer. And the great warm silence of the galaxy, where every distant world seems to be resting quietly in the dark. Let the whole flat level reach of the universe hold you gently at its center, and the two great wheels of stars leaning slowly toward one another across the unhurried ages, and the old red giant breathing out its soft veils of dust as it dims and brightens through the years, and the quiet river of time flowing always gently forward, carrying everything along at its own easy pace. Not one of these things needs anything from you tonight. Not one of them is waiting on an answer or hurrying toward anything at all. They simply go on falling and glowing and turning and drifting out there in the deep, endlessly patient, endlessly calm, while you sink a little further into the warmth beneath you, your breath slower now, softer now, each one a little easier than the last. There's nothing to solve. There's nothing to carry. There's only the long, slow turning of far-off things, and the quiet rise and fall of your own gentle breathing, carrying you down, and softly further down, toward the deep and peaceful quiet of sleep. There's a small moon out past the ringed world, one you've probably never heard a single word about, and it holds a puzzle that has quietly baffled us since the first time we looked at it closely. From one side, it's bright, pale as fresh snow, catching the far light of the sun and giving it softly back. But turn it a little, and the other side is dark, dark as old soot, as though someone had brushed one whole half of it with shadow and left the rest untouched. One little world, two faces, and no one is entirely sure how it came to wear them. Some think it sweeps up dark dust as it moves along, gathering it slowly on its leading side over ages upon ages. Others think the darkness warms in the sunlight and drives the ice away, leaving the bright half brighter and the dark half darker with every passing year. A slow, patient sorting that has gone on far longer than there have been eyes to see it. And stranger still, running all the way around its middle, there's a great ridge of mountains, a raised seam that circles the whole small world like the stitching on a ball, taller than almost anything else of its kind. No one knows how it got there either. You don't need to choose an answer. Just let that little two-toned world turn slowly in your mind, one side pale and one side dark, wearing its quiet riddle patiently in the cold, asking nothing of you at all. And here's something softer still, drifting up from the surface of the red world we spoke of a while ago. Every so often, when we sniff carefully at its thin, cold air with our patient little machines, we catch the faintest trace of something that shouldn't linger there. A whisper of a certain gas, the kind that, back home, tends to come from living things, from the slow, warm work of tiny creatures deep in the soil, or the mud at the bottom of a marsh. It rises there on that dry world, just a breath of it, and then, months later, it's gone again, faded away far faster than anyone can quite explain. It comes and it goes, like something breathing, slow and faint, across the seasons of that distant place. Now it may be nothing living at all. There are quiet ways the rocks themselves might make it, deep down where water and stone press together in the dark, but no one knows for certain where it comes from, or why it seems to swell and fade the way it does. And it's a gentle thing to wonder about, isn't it, as you settle deeper into the warmth, that faint breath rising and falling on a world so far away, keeping its own soft secret in the cold. You don't have to solve it tonight. You can just let it drift. Then there's a stranger, quieter puzzle, one that lived for years in the careful counting of numbers. Long ago, we sent two small explorers out past the great planets, out toward the very edges of everything we knew. And for many years, they sailed on faithfully into the dark, sending their faint voices back across the widening gulf. And when we watched them very, very closely, we noticed something odd. They were drifting, just the tiniest bit, slower than they ought to be, as though some soft and gentle hand were pulling back on them, ever so lightly, holding them just a hair behind, where all our careful sums said they should be. It was a small thing, unimaginably small, far smaller than you could ever feel. And yet it was there, year after year, in the numbers that came home. And for a long while, no one could say what it was. Some thought it was a whole new kind of pull we didn't yet understand, some hidden rule of the universe showing itself in the faint tug on two little ships. In the end, the gentlest answer seemed the truest one, that it was only the warmth of the ships themselves, their own faint heat drifting off a little more one way than another, nudging them along by the barest breath. But even now there's something lovely in the thought of it. Those two small travelers pressing on and on into the deep, feeling some soft invisible drag no one had quite predicted, sailing steadily onward all the same. Let them carry a piece of your wondering out there with them, into the quiet dark, as you sink a little further down. Closer to home, there's a world we often think of as a bright evening jewel, the one that shines so beautifully just after sunset or before the dawn. From here it looks calm and lovely, but underneath its thick, pale veil of cloud, it hides a strange and restless mystery. The whole world itself turns astonishingly slowly, so slowly that a single one of its days lasts longer than one of its years. And yet high above, its heavy blanket of cloud goes racing round and round the planet far, far faster than the ground below, whipping all the way around the whole world in just a few of our days, sweeping along at a pace that has nothing to do with the slow turning underneath. We call it the great fast rushing of the air, and no one is quite sure what keeps it going, what winds it up and holds it spinning so much quicker than the world it wraps. Something in the sunlight, perhaps, and the slow churning of that deep, hot air, working together in a way we haven't fully untangled. And higher still, in the cooler layers of that cloud, there have even been faint hints, gentle and uncertain, of something we didn't expect to find. A trace of the kind of stuff that, on our own world, tends to go along with life. No one knows what to make of it yet. It may be nothing at all, some ordinary trick of that strange chemistry, but it's a soft thing to hold as you drift. That bright evening star turning slow beneath its racing clouds, keeping more than one quiet secret behind its golden haze. And out at the largest of all the planets, the great striped giant, there's a storm you could rest your whole imagination inside. A vast, slow swirl of cloud, a single spinning tempest wider than our entire world, turning round and round in that thick, banded air. What makes it so remarkable isn't only its size, it's that it has lasted. For as long as anyone has had the tools to look, for hundreds of years now, that same great storm has been turning in the same place, refusing to fade the way storms always fade at home. Here, a storm blows itself out in a day or two, spending its strength and softening back into calm. But out there, this one has churned on and on through the centuries, outliving everyone who ever watched it, weathering ages that would have long since scattered anything we know. No one is fully certain why it holds together so faithfully, what feeds it and steadies it and keeps it spinning down all those years. It's slowly changing now, shrinking a little, shifting its color, and even that we can't quite explain. But picture it for a moment, that enormous patient swirl, turning and turning in the dark far away, older than telescopes, older than the questions we ask about it, wheeling on in no hurry at all. You can let your breathing fall into its slow, deep rhythm, round and round, easy and unhurried, as you settle further into the soft dark. There's a puzzle too, in something as simple as a question you might think we'd long since answered. And that's how fast the whole universe is truly spreading apart. We have two careful ways of measuring it. One looks close by, at the nearby beacons and the way they drift from us, and it gives us a number. The other looks far, far back, at that faint, even glow left over from the very beginning of things, and works the number out from there. And here's the strange part, the part that has quietly troubled the people who think hardest about these things. The two numbers don't agree. They're close, but they're not the same. And no matter how carefully we measure, no matter how much we sharpen our tools and check our sums, the little gap between them stubbornly refuses to close. It's as though the universe is telling us one story when we listen near, and a slightly different story when we listen far. And we can't yet find the words that make them both come true at once. Maybe we're missing something small in how we measure. Or maybe, and this is the thought that makes the careful thinkers go quiet, maybe there's something out there we haven't discovered yet, some hidden piece of how everything works, waiting patiently in that little gap between two numbers to be found. You don't have to reconcile them tonight. You can just let the two soft answers sit side by side in the dark, unresolved and unhurried, while you drift on past them, and out among the small worlds that circle between the red planet and the giant. There's a little round one, more ball of rock and ice than anything else, and on its dim gray face, we found something that stopped us for a while. Bright spots, small patches glowing far more brightly than everything around them. So bright that when we first saw them from far off, they seemed almost to shine like little lights set down in the dark. As we drew closer, we learned they were deposits of a pale salt, left behind where briny water had risen up from somewhere deep inside and dried away in the cold and the emptiness, leaving those bright smears gleaming on the crater floors. But that only deepened the wonder, really, because it meant there was water down there once, maybe still, moving quietly beneath the surface of a world so small and so far and so cold that we never thought to look for it. A little hidden wetness in a place that seems all frost and stone. No one is entirely sure how much is down there, or how it comes and goes, or what else it might mean. Let those small bright spots glimmer softly at the edge of your drifting thoughts, gentle little lights on a faraway world, keeping their own quiet company in the dark. Let all of these settle over you now, soft and dim and far away. The little two-faced moon wearing one bright side and one dark, and the faint breath of gas rising and fading on the red world's cold plains, and the two small ships drifting ever so slightly slow as they sail on into the deep. Let the bright evening world turn slowly beneath its racing veil of cloud, and the great patient storm wheel round and round through its long centuries. and the two soft, mismatched numbers sit side by side in the quiet, waiting to be understood. Let the little bright spots gleam on their faraway ball of stone and ice, keeping their small secret in the cold. Not one of these things is troubled by our not knowing. Not one of them is waiting on you for an answer, or hurrying toward anything at all. They simply go on turning and breathing and drifting and glowing out there in the endless dark, endlessly patient, endlessly calm, while you sink a little further into the warmth beneath you, your breath slower now and softer, each one coming a little easier than the last, carrying you gently down towards sleep. There's a puzzle that lives right at the surface of our own sun, so close and so familiar that you'd think we'd have it figured out by now. You'd expect the sun to be hottest at its heart, and cooler the farther out you go, the way a fire is warmest at its center and gentler at the edges. And for the most part, that's true. The glowing face of the sun, the part we actually see, sits at somewhere around 5,000 or 6,000 degrees. But then, when you rise up off that surface, out into the thin, faint halo of light that surrounds it, the part we can only really see when the moon slides in front of the sun and blots it out, something strange happens. It gets hotter. Not a little hotter. Millions of degrees hotter. It's as though you stepped away from a campfire and found the air warmer the farther you walked, which is precisely the opposite of everything that ought to be true. No one is entirely sure how the sun does this, how it pours all that heat up into its outer air and keeps it so much fiercer than the surface below. There are ideas, of course, gentle guesses about tiny tangled loops of magnetism snapping and releasing their energy, about countless little flares too small to notice one by one. But nobody has fully closed the case. You can let that quiet contradiction rest beside you now, the cool fire and the hot air above it, a small, warm mystery burning softly at the center of our days, asking nothing of you as you sink a little deeper into the dark. And here's a gentle thought that folds neatly into that one. When our sun was very, very young, billions of years ago, it shone far more faintly than it does today, giving off perhaps only 3/4 of the warmth it gives us now. By everything we understand, that should have left the early Earth frozen solid, a pale ball of ice wrapped from pole to pole, far too cold for any water to move or any life to stir. And yet, when we look at the oldest stones, the ones that remember those ancient days, we find the marks of liquid water, of rivers and warm, shallow seas, of a world that was somehow gentle and wet when by all rights it should have been locked in frost. How did the young Earth stay warm beneath such a dim little sun? We're not entirely sure. Perhaps the air was thicker then, holding the warmth in like a heavier blanket. Perhaps there were other quiet workings we haven't quite pieced together. It's a soft and lovely riddle, really. The thought of a warm world basking under a faint, pale sun, keeping its own gentle heat somehow, long before anyone was there to wonder how. Let that early warmth settle over you like an old, old blanket and drift on. Out among the moons of the giant planet, the great striped world with all its wheeling family, there's one small world that never stops trembling. It's a little moon, not so very much bigger than our own, and yet its surface is the most restless in all the sun's family. It churns and cracks and glows, throwing great fountains of molten rock high above itself, painting its own face over and over in yellows and reds and deep, sulfurous golds, so that it looks almost like something cooked slowly and left too long in the pan. You'd never expect a world so small to be so alive inside. Small things cool quickly, as a rule. A little world should have gone cold and still long ago. Its inner fires banked down to nothing. But this one burns and burns. And the reason, we think, is the constant pull and squeeze of the giant it circles, kneading the little moon like dough, stretching it and letting it go with every turn, until all that flexing heats its insides and keeps them forever molten. Even so, there's more heat there than we can fully explain, more fire than the simple picture allows. And just where all of it comes from remains a little unsettled. Picture that small, restless world glowing far off in the dark, warming itself by the endless, gentle squeeze of something far larger. And let its quiet fires flicker at the edge of your thoughts as you slow and soften and sink. Closer to home, there's a slow, patient thing happening to the moon itself. The same moon you've looked up at all your life. And it's happening so gently that no one would ever feel it. The moon is drifting away from us. Every year, it slips just a little farther off, only a few centimeters, about as much as your fingernails grow in that same span of time, easing outward into the dark by the tiniest measure. It's the soft pull between the earth and the moon that does it, the same pull that lifts the tides in the sea, very slowly handing the moon a little more room with each turn of the years, which means that long ago, the moon hung closer and larger in the sky. And long from now, far beyond any of us, it will float smaller and dimmer up there, a fainter little coin against the night. There are still gentle puzzles in exactly how fast this has happened across all the deep ages, small mismatches between what the rocks seem to say and what the simple sums predict. But you don't need to sort any of that out. Just hold the soft, slow picture of it, the faithful moon easing away by a hair's breadth every year, patient beyond patience, in no hurry at all to leave. Let that unhurried drifting carry you along with it, down and down towards sleep. Far out beyond the ringed world, there's a great blue planet, deep and cold and windy, one of the two distant giants at the far edge of everything we know well. And on its blue face, from time to time, a great dark spot appears, a vast storm the size of a whole world of our own, wheeling slowly through those deep, cold clouds. We saw one long ago, when a little traveling machine of ours went sailing past, a great dark eye turning in the southern skies of that faraway world. And then, when we looked again some years later with our finest far-seeing eyes, it was simply gone, vanished without a trace, as though it had never been there at all. Later, others appeared in different places, drifting and shifting and fading in their own time. These enormous storms come and go across that distant blue world in ways we still can't fully predict, blooming out of the cold and dissolving back into it, each one lasting only a while before the deep quiet swallows it again. There's something restful in that, honestly. The thought of storms so vast and yet so gentle in their coming and going, arising and passing on a world no one will ever visit, seen only now and then, briefly, from unimaginably far away. Let those great dark spots open and close softly in your mind, slow and silent and blue, and let them ease you further down. Every so often, from somewhere out in the deep, there comes a flash of such fierce and sudden brightness that for a few short moments it outshines whole galaxies at once. These are the brightest bursts of light in all the universe, brief and blinding, flaring up out of the dark far away, and then dying back down almost as quickly as they came. They seem to mark the endings of certain great stars, or the moments when the densest, strangest cinders of dead stars come crashing together at last, releasing in a heartbeat more light than our own sun will give out in all its long, long life. And yet, for all we've learned, there's still so much we don't understand about them, about exactly what makes them, and why they come in the shapes and lengths they do. Some lasting only the blink of an eye, others lingering a little longer. They flash from so far away that the light we catch set out toward us ages upon ages ago, from a time when the universe itself was young. But don't let the word bright trouble your rest. From where you lie, safe and warm and gathered in, these are only the faintest, most distant flickers, soft signals from the deep past, arriving gently at the end of an unthinkable journey. Let them glimmer once and fade, far off and long ago, and let yourself grow heavier still, and far out past the last of the great planets, past the icy little worlds that drift in the cold beyond them. There's a strange and quiet edge to things, a place where all the small frozen bodies seem simply to stop. You'd think they'd thin out slowly, gently, growing fewer and farther between the deeper you went, trailing off softly into the emptiness. But instead, there's a kind of cliff out there, a place where the little icy worlds grow suddenly scarce, as though something long ago swept the far spaces clean, or drew a quiet line that nothing crossed. No one is entirely certain why the edge falls off so sharply, why the crowd of frozen wanderers ends more or less all at once instead of fading away by degrees. Perhaps some large thing passed through long ago and cleared the way. Perhaps the story of how our whole family of worlds came together left that boundary behind for reasons we haven't yet read. It's a soft mystery, a hush at the far rim of everything familiar, the place where the known worlds give way to the deep between the stars. Let that quiet edge hold in your mind for a moment, the frozen little worlds trailing out, and then simply, gently ceasing, and the great dark opening beyond, calm and endless and still. There's a small comet too, one we sent a little machine to visit not so very long ago. A lumpy dark thing, shaped almost like two pieces stuck loosely together, tumbling slowly through the cold, on its long looping path around the sun. And when our careful little visitor sniffed at the thin haze of gas rising off it, we found something no one had expected. Oxygen, loose oxygen, the very kind we breathe, drifting up off that ancient icy stone. And by everything we understood, it simply shouldn't have been there. Oxygen is a restless, eager sort of thing. It likes to join with whatever it meets. To find it hanging free around a comet meant it must have been locked away inside that frozen body since the very beginning, since before the sun and its worlds had even fully formed, held safe and untouched through all the ages until now. It was like opening a very old box and catching a breath of air that had been sealed away since the dawn of everything. Exactly how it stayed there so long, undisturbed through such an unthinkable stretch of time, is something we're still turning over gently in our minds. Picture that dark, tumbling stone with its faint breath of ancient air, keeping a whisper of the very first days safe in its cold heart. And let that old, old breath settle you softly toward sleep. Let all of these settle over you now, soft and dim and far away. The cool, bright face of the sun with its strange hot halo burning fiercer than the surface below, and the young, warm earth basking somehow beneath its faint, pale sun in the long ago. The little restless moon glowing and trembling by the giant's endless squeeze, and our own faithful moon easing away from us by a hair's breadth every quiet year. Let the great dark storms open and close on the far blue world, and the brightest flashes glimmer once and fade in the deep past, and the crowd of frozen little worlds trail off gently at the edge of everything. Let the old dark comet carry its whisper of ancient air along its long, slow path. Not one of these things is troubled by our not knowing. Not one of them is waiting on you for an answer, or hurrying toward anything at all. They simply go on burning and glowing and drifting and turning out there in the endless dark, endlessly patient, endlessly calm, while you sink a little further into the warmth beneath you, your breath slower now and softer, each one coming a little easier than the last, carrying you gently on toward sleep. There's a soft thing about our own little world that we hardly ever stop to think of, and it's this. Something is quietly warming us from the inside, deep down beneath your feet, far below the ground and the rock and the long, slow rivers of stone. The heart of the earth is hot, hotter than the surface of the sun in places, and it has stayed hot for longer than seems quite fair. You'd think that a warm thing left alone in the cold would slowly cool, the way a mug of tea gives up its heat to the room until it's no warmer than the air around it. And the earth is very, very old, older than almost anything you could name, some 4.5 billion years turning in the dark. By rights, it ought to have gone cold, and still long ago, its inner fires banked down to nothing. And yet it hasn't. Down there in the deep, the heat goes on, keeping the great slow currents moving, keeping the ground beneath the oceans drifting by the width of a fingernail each year. Some of that warmth is left over from the very making of the world, from the long ago when everything came crashing gently together out of dust and stone. And some of it comes from tiny restless flecks of matter buried in the rock, giving up their warmth a little at a time over unthinkable ages. But exactly how much comes from where, and just how the whole warm heart of it all fits together, is something we're still turning over quietly. Picture that deep, patient warmth far below you, steady and slow and endless, holding the whole world gently from within, and let it warm you too, down where you're resting now. And while we're thinking of warm, hidden hearts, let your mind drift far out again, past the ringed world and its wheeling moons, out to where the light of the sun is thin and pale, and the cold is very deep. There's a great planet out there, a huge one, the largest of all our family of worlds, and it gives off more warmth than it ought to. This is the strange, soft thing about it. When we measure how much light and heat it catches from the faraway sun, and then we measure how much warmth comes streaming off it into the dark, the numbers don't match. It's giving back more than it takes in. Something inside that vast striped world is making its own quiet heat, more than twice what it gathers from the distant sun, and pouring it out into the endless cold. Perhaps it's still very slowly settling, the whole great bulk of it easing inward by the tiniest amount each year, and that gentle squeezing warms it from within. Perhaps deep down inside, there's a soft, slow rain of something falling through the layers, giving up its warmth as it goes. We have our guesses, our careful, patient guesses, But the truth of it stays just beyond our reach, out there in the deep dark, where that huge warm world turns slowly on its side. Let that be a soft thing to rest against, the biggest of all our neighbors, glowing faintly with a heat all its own, warm at its heart against the cold, and you here warm at yours. Now let your thoughts wander somewhere stranger still, out among the countless stars, to a puzzle hidden in the way that whole galaxies turn. We spoke a little of the quiet, unseen stuff that seems to hold the great wheels of stars together. And here's a soft, curious thread of that same mystery. When we look at galaxy after galaxy, all across the reachable sky, we find that they seem to follow a gentle rule, a kind of quiet agreement between how fast the outer stars go wheeling round and how much bright, ordinary matter the galaxy holds. It's such a neat and tidy pairing that it almost feels like a secret handshake, the same little arrangement showing up again and again in galaxy after galaxy, whether they're small and faint or great and blazing. And that's the puzzle of it, really. If the invisible stuff and the visible stuff were only loosely bound together, you'd expect their dance to be a little messy, a little different each time. One galaxy going one way and another going another. But instead, there's this soft, steady harmony running all through them, as though the seen and the unseen were somehow reading from the very same quiet page. Why the two should keep such perfect, gentle time with one another, all across the wide sweep of the heavens, is something we haven't fully untangled. Let that image settle over you. All those slow, great wheels of light turning far off in the dark, each one keeping the same soft time as all the rest. An unspoken rhythm spread across everything. And let your own slow breathing fall into a rhythm just as easy. And here's a gentle thing to think of. Closer now, right here around the world you're resting on. Every so often, our little machines high above the earth, the ones that drift in slow circles far overhead, have measured the faintest, softest tug in their paths as they swing close by the world and sling out again towards somewhere far away. When these small travelers come skimming past the earth to borrow a little of its motion, to be flung onward toward the outer worlds, we watch them very carefully, counting every tiny nudge and pull. And now and then, ever so slightly, one of them has come away, moving just a whisper faster, or a whisper slower, than all our careful sums said it should. It's the tiniest thing, a change so small you could never feel it, smaller than the drift of a single grain of sand over a whole long day. And yet it's there, or it has been, showing up in the numbers when we least expect it, a soft little nudge from something we haven't quite named. Perhaps it's only a small gap in our understanding of how the world's pull reaches out and shapes the paths of things. Perhaps it's nothing at all, a trick of measurement, a shadow in the counting. But for now it stays a quiet little riddle, a faint, unexplained push out there in the dark near home. Let it drift through your mind as softly as those little machines drift past the earth, there and then gone, and let go of holding it. Let your thoughts float outward once more, out past the sun and its family, out to the far bright scattering of the stars, and think for a moment of how they gather. Stars are not sprinkled evenly through the dark, you see. They come in great soft clusters, in wide loose families, and in tight glittering knots. And some of these knots are among the oldest things in all the heavens. Picture one of them, a great round swarm of stars, hundreds of thousands of them, all bound gently together, so old that they've been shining since almost the very beginning of the galaxy itself. And here's the quiet puzzle in it. When we look closely at the stars in one of these ancient swarms, we sometimes find, tucked in among all the old dim ones, a scattering of stars that look far younger than they have any right to be. Bright and blue and fresh, as though they'd been born only yesterday in a place where nothing new should have formed for ages upon ages. How they came to be there, young faces in that old crowd, is something we're still gently working out. Perhaps two old stars drifted close and slowly merged, and the joining of them lit a fresh new fire that made the pair look young again. Perhaps one star quietly drew fresh fuel from a near companion and blazed up bright and renewed. It's a soft and rather lovely mystery, the thought of something old finding a way to shine young again, out there in those great slow swarms of ancient light. Let that be a gentle thing to hold as you sink further down, the old stars and the young ones turning together, patient and unbothered, needing nothing from you at all. And now think of something vast and quiet, a thing that spans almost the whole reach of the heavens. When we map out where the great wheels of stars have gathered all across the deep, we find they're strung together in long soft threads and sheets, with wide dark hollows in between, the whole of it woven into a kind of gentle web. We've spoken of that web before, in a quiet way, but here's a softer thread of it still. Every so often, in mapping that great pattern, we come upon something so large it strains the mind to hold it. A gathering of distant lights stretched across such an unthinkable width of space that, by our best and gentlest understanding, it perhaps shouldn't be there at all. There's meant to be a limit, you see, a soft ceiling on how big any single grouping of things can grow in the time the universe has had to build them. And now and then, we stumble on one that seems to sail right past that limit. A structure so wide that light itself would take an age beyond imagining to cross from one side to the other. Whether these great sprawling things are truly bound together, or only look that way to us from our small quiet corner, is something we haven't settled. But the very thought of them, those enormous soft patterns spread across nearly everything, is a peaceful sort of vastness to rest inside. Let it hold you gently, the great slow web of all the galaxies, wider than wide, and you a single warm and drowsy point somewhere within it, perfectly small and perfectly safe. Let's come drifting back in now, back toward the warmth of our own star, and think of one more soft thing about it before we go on. The sun, for all its steadiness, has a slow, deep heartbeat to it, a rhythm we spoke of a little while ago, where its storms rise and fall over the years. But hidden inside that rhythm is a quieter riddle. Long ago, for a stretch of many years, the sun seemed to grow strangely calm, its spots and storms fading almost to nothing, as though it had drawn a long, slow breath and simply held it. And in those same quiet years, down here on the earth, the winters ran colder and longer than folk had known them. The rivers froze that hardly ever froze, and the world pulled its blankets a little tighter. Whether the sun's long hush and the world's long chill were truly bound together, and just what makes the sun fall into such deep, quiet spells now and then, is something we're still turning over softly. It doesn't happen often, and it passes gently when it comes, the sun always easing back into its old familiar rhythm in time. But the memory of those still, cold years is a soft reminder of how closely our small, warm lives are tied to that great, glowing thing at the center of it all. Let that settle over you now. The sun breathing slow and deep across the long years, calm and then bright, and then calm again, keeping its own unhurried time. And let your own breath fall as slow and easy as the sun's. Let all of these settle over you now, soft and dim and far away. The deep, warm heart of our own world, holding its heat through all the long ages against the cold. The great striped giant far out in the dark, glowing faintly with a warmth all its own, giving back more than it's given. The slow wheels of the galaxies keeping their quiet secret time. The seen and the unseen dancing gently together across the whole wide sky. The little machines drifting past the earth with their faint, unexplained nudge, there and then gone. The young, bright stars hiding among the old ones in those ancient, glittering swarms. Something old made new again. The vast, soft web of everything strung across the deep with its threads too wide to measure. And the sun breathing slow and calm through its long, quiet spells. Not one of these things is troubled by our not knowing. Not one of them is waiting on you for an answer or hurrying toward anything at all. They simply go on warming and glowing and turning and drifting out there in the endless dark, endlessly patient, endlessly calm, while you sink a little further into the warmth beneath you, your breath slower now and softer, each one coming a little easier than the last, carrying you gently on toward sleep. And here's one more soft thing to turn over now, as the night begins to fold itself around you. Those shining bands we drifted past a while ago. The great flat rings circling the giant world far out in the cold. Well, we still can't quite settle on how old they are, or how much longer they'll be there at all. For the longest time, we imagined they were as ancient as the planet itself, spread out there from the very beginning. But when we look closely, they seem almost too bright, too clean, too fresh, as though they were laid down not so very long ago in the great sweep of things. And stranger still, they seem to be slowly raining down onto the world below, a fine soft drizzle of icy dust drifting inward, so that one distant day, far beyond any night either of us will ever see, those beautiful rings may simply fade away. Whether they're young or old, and why they came to be at all, is one more gentle riddle turning quietly out there in the dark. And there's something soothing in it, isn't there? The thought that even the most beautiful things in the sky are passing through, here for a while, then softly gone, the way a warm day drifts into evening. You don't have to feel sad about it. Just let it be another slow, easy thought to rest your mind upon. Drift on with me a little further, out past all of that, back toward the very first light of everything. Long, long ago, before there were any galaxies at all, the whole universe was dark, just a soft, warm haze with no stars in it anywhere. And then, somewhere in that darkness, the very first stars began to kindle, the first true lights ever to shine. We've never seen them, not really. They're too far, too faint, too long ago. But not long back, our patient listening machines caught the barest whisper of a signal that might have come from that first dawn, from the moment those earliest stars flickered on. And the whisper didn't quite match what we expected. It was deeper, stranger, cooler than the simplest story said it ought to be. Some quiet folk wonder if the unseen stuff we spoke of earlier was somehow reaching in, cooling that first faint gas in a way we don't yet understand. No one knows for certain, It's a soft puzzle from the very morning of the universe. The first lights ever lit, still keeping a secret or two. Let that image settle over you. The whole cosmos dark and warm and waiting. And then, one by one, the first small stars opening their eyes. There's another quiet mystery, quieter still, hidden not in the far reaches, but in the plain, simple counting of one gentle thing. When the universe was newly made, in those first soft minutes, it cooked up the lightest stuff of all, the makings of the very first, simplest matter. And we can work out, quite carefully, just how much of each kind there ought to be. For nearly everything, our sums come out beautifully right, matching what we find scattered through the oldest stars. But there's one delicate ingredient, a light and fragile sort of matter, where the numbers simply won't agree. We find only about a third as much of it out there as our best reckoning says we should. Not too much, too little, as though some of it quietly slipped away in the very beginning, or was never quite there to start with. It's such a small thing, really, a missing sliver in the accounts of creation, and yet no one has ever fully explained where it went. Isn't that a soft and curious thought? That the universe keeps even its smallest books just slightly off, and doesn't seem the least bit bothered by it. You needn't be bothered either. Just let it drift. And close to home, closer than you'd think, our own great wheel of stars carries its own faint scars. When we look carefully at the outer edges of our galaxy, out past the bright, crowded middle, we find long, thin streams of stars trailing through the dark, faint ribbons wound around us like ripples on still water. And the gentlest reading of them is this: our galaxy, over the long unhurried ages, has slowly drawn in smaller wheels of stars that wandered too near, folding them softly into itself, until all that's left of them are these dim, quiet streams, the ghostly threads of little galaxies that once were. There's nothing fierce about it, nothing sudden. It happens over such vast, slow stretches of time that from the inside, you'd never feel a thing. It's more like the way a wide, calm river takes in a smaller stream, the two of them simply becoming one and flowing gently on. Whether we've counted all these lost little wanderers and just how many the galaxy has quietly gathered in is something we're still tracing, one faint thread at a time. Let it be a soft thought to lean against, the great slow galaxy holding all its old companions close, none of them truly gone, only folded in and carried along. And out beyond even that, in the leftover glow from the beginning of things, that faint even warmth spread across the whole sky, there's one small patch that has puzzled us for years. A single soft region, off in one direction, that seems just a touch cooler and emptier than everywhere else. A little cold hollow in the warmth of the early universe, wider than it seems it has any right to be. We've turned it over and over, wondering if it's simply a great empty room out there, a vast quiet space with far fewer galaxies than usual, or something stranger still that we don't yet have the words for. It might be nothing at all, just the sort of gentle unevenness you'd expect here and there. Or it might be a soft clue to something we've never guessed. And either way, it rests out there cool and calm and patient, keeping its own small counsel across the whole wide sky. Let all of these settle over you now, soft and dim and far away. The great bright rings drizzling slowly down through the ages, young or old, no one quite sure. The very first stars kindling in the dark, and whispering back a riddle from the dawn of everything. The tiny missing sliver in the oldest accounts of creation, gone we know not where. The long faint streams of little lost galaxies wound gently around our own, gathered in and carried along, and that one cool quiet hollow in the early glow, resting easy out there, in no hurry to explain itself to anyone. Not one of these things is waiting on you. Not one of them needs a single thought more from you tonight. They've kept their soft secrets for billions of years, patient and calm. And they'll go right on keeping them while you rest, warm and easy and safe, here in the quiet. We've come a long, long way tonight, you and I, all the way out to the farthest edges of everything, and gently back again, past worlds and moons and stars, and the great slow wheels of the galaxies, past all those beautiful unanswered questions strung out across the dark like faint and distant lights. And do you feel how none of them ever asked a thing of you? That was the whole soft point of it. You didn't have to solve a single one. You didn't have to remember or understand or reach for anything at all. You only had to drift along beside them for a little while and let the great calm patience of the universe settle down over you like a warm and heavy blanket. The not knowing is a gentle thing. It's a soft place to rest, and the whole wide sky, with all its beautiful mysteries, has been holding you the entire time, the way it holds the planets and the stars, without effort, without worry, without any need for you to do a single thing but breathe and soften and slowly let go. So let yourself sink the rest of the way down now. Let your body grow heavy and warm against the bed, every part of you loosening, your thoughts going slow and soft and far away, like the last faint stars fading into the pale of morning. There's nowhere else to be, nothing left to do, just the quiet and the warmth and the slow, easy rhythm of your own breathing, carrying you gently on. If you'd like to keep on drifting, there's another soft story waiting to begin all on its own the moment this one ends. So you won't have to stir, or reach for a thing, or lift so much as a finger. Just leave it be, and let the next quiet voice come and carry you on wherever you're going. And if these gentle nights have been kind to you, if they've helped ease you down into sleep even a little, you might quietly follow along. So there's always another one here waiting, soft and ready, whenever you need somewhere calm to rest. No rush, it'll keep. But for now, there's nothing more to think about at all. The far bright rings are drizzling softly down. The first stars are still glowing quietly out there in the deep. The long-lost streams of little galaxies are winding gently around our own, and the whole vast patient sky is turning slow and calm above you, keeping its own unhurried time, asking nothing, needing nothing, simply holding you here in the warm and quiet dark. Let your breath go slower still. Let the last small thoughts drift off like faint lights fading. You're safe. You're warm. You're carried, and the universe, with all its endless gentle secrets, will go right on keeping them, softly, patiently, all through the night, while you rest. Sleep well now. Sleep deep and easy and long. Good night.